It's game time, but I've been wasting seconds on the sideline. Cause I've been scared of failing for my whole life. But I'm not scared of failing no more, no. No more, no, no, no. Cause I've seen giants fall to their knees, and I've seen losers rise to their feet. Well, who cares if it all goes wrong? Cause when I die, at least I smile to say I tried. So it's not how you get knocked down, it's how you get back up. Don't play safe, it's how you break that makes you strong enough. Set fire to your soul, go hard or go home. If you wanna be a winner, you gotta learn to lose. 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 It's game time, so let's do something special, make the headlines. I'm going for the gold and I won't think twice. Cause I'm not scared of failing no more, no. No more, no, no, no. Cause I've seen giants fall to their knees, and I've seen losers rise to their feet. Well, who cares if it all goes wrong? Cause when I die, at least I smile to say I tried. So it's not how you get knocked down, it's how you get back up. Don't play safe, it's how you break that makes you strong enough. Set fire to your soul, go hard or go home. If you wanna be a winner, you gotta learn to lose. 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 I've been standing still too long. Now those wasted days are gone. Who cares if it all goes wrong? Cause when I die, at least I smile to say I tried. So it's not how you get knocked down, it's how you get back up. Don't play safe, it's how you break that makes you strong enough. Set fire to your soul, go hard or go home. If you wanna be a winner, you gotta learn to lose. 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 You gotta learn to lose.
Disco will never be gone. It will live in our minds and in our hearts. Something like this, something that is so good, so important, so great.
Do not push too much, cause it takes time. Do not talk too much, because it's mine. And I do it with small steps, and I have no regrets. No mistakes, shine my black shoes, cause I wanna move. What do you choose? There are too many options, do not take me down with the fears you've raised, because they are not mine. Running so fast like a shooting star till I hit a home run. Aim so wild I cannot be tamed, and with every step I take, don't you ever look through my sight. Aim so wild I cannot be tamed, and with every step I take, don't you ever look through my sight. Don't look through my sight. Get set, ready, go for the spotlight like a Trojan horse. ready for the fight. And I do it with small steps, and I have no regrets. No mistakes, wear my best suit, cause I cannot lose, bumping up my mood. There are too many options and they can take me down. Everything is now in place because I hold the edge. Aim so wild I cannot be tamed, and with every step I take, don't you ever look through my sight. Aim so wild
make it count.
I must practice tolerance. Next.
GSL Season 3. Reversal.
Welcome to GSL Code S Season 3. I can't believe that it's already here.
It's a brand new season, Artosis, or it's a brand new. It's reversal is the theme of today's season. I'm not sure exactly what we're reversing, but we'll figure it out eventually. And we're starting things off with Yuri on stage and a little opening ceremony for you guys today. Wow, I'm not really starting off the season.
No,
my words
I wish we could do a reversal.
Yeah, my words are reversal today.
Yeah.
Well, here's a list of our broadcast dates. Unfortunately, not reversed.
Yeah. The one big thing is we are ripping through the RO32 here once again. In the course of 3 weeks, we will finish it all up. And on the 11th, that's next Thursday, so 8 days from today, we're starting an hour and a half later than we normally do on weeknights.
Just because, just for you. We saw one fan made a -1 upvoted comment on Reddit that said to make it at 8 o'clock, and we listened. So we put it at 8 o'clock on next Thursday.
It's
so
important to do.
It's on the 11th. Keep in mind, if you guys are coming down, don't show up early that day.
Yeah, or show up early that day and wait way longer than you normally do.
That's true. It's a perfect weather outside, too. So this is opening day, and so because of opening day, we have our Africa TV CEO, Kevin Saw, up on stage to give an opening announcement. So he says we're starting the opening season of this, of the last opening season of this year. He says, what do you think about the new uniform? That is the new GSL jacket. He says he's excited for this season. Season 2 had a lot of stories. And I'm expecting that a lot more stories will be happening this season as well. We have a lot of newcomers this season, so like Tasia, Bomber. Then we have 2 foreign players, Special and Scarlet. And so lots of new players this season. He says, now it's finally time to start Season 3.
결승전 대결을 시작하겠습니다. 진짜 우승 최초의 우승자가 나왔습니다. 그 이름은 다크 방영우. Please welcome of the World Championship Series, Bomber, Liquid Tasia, champion. 2019 Mountain Dew GSL Season 3 Code S Reversal.
I tell you what, it is amazing to be back so quickly into yet another season of GSL Code S. But you know what's even more amazing?
That I'm here?
Being here with you.
Got it! Nailed it! All right, I'm 1 for 1 today. If things keep going that way,
I changed it to that because I didn't want to embarrass him.
I didn't hear what you said, Artosis, so I don't know.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay, good.
So, yeah, no, it's great to be here with you, Rapid, filling in. And I got to say, this group, very exciting stuff.
Lots of things going on in this group. Somehow, the Africa TV CEO, Kevin, divined that there were going to be new storylines this year. So because we have a bunch of new players, we've got a lot of new storylines just overall, and I think we're going to take a look at the full groups for the round of 32, and there are a lot of things going on, not only in this group, but overall. We've got foreign players, we've got returning players. I thought it was kind of interesting that he mentions Tasia and Bomber coming back, because obviously those are very big names. But we also have Super and Dream who are coming back, and
that's a big deal.
Yeah, I don't think probably they had as large a fan base as guys like Tasia, who's like kind of the best player in the world at one point.
Well, Rapid, listen, okay, I didn't see your Team Liquid shirt on underneath there, but he was never the best player in the world.
Too.
Okay, he was a very good player, but let's not
but he
get
won all
crazy
those
here.
dream hacks, Artosis.
Yeah, he did do that.
All right, this is a look at our round of 24. 12 Terrans, 12 Protoss, and 8 poor, lonely Zergs down there who have only won all the championships, Artosis.
Yeah.
How do they do it? They're so downtrodden.
I know.
Where's my
poor
Zerg
guys.
representation group?
Poor Zergs. Yeah, you know, looking at this season, I love. Well, first off, it's funny that we're calling them newcomers because all these guys have been in GSL before. It's just been a very long time. To have them back is amazing. Bomber and Tasia both were amongst the top players in the world. Dream was one of the most exciting up-and-comers for a while, and then disappeared off the face of the planet, and he's back. And then Super, he had his ups and downs. You know, he had some good times, he had some bad times. But, you know, cool to have older players returning there as well. We are missing out on a few players. Bunny didn't make it again. That was a real big shock for me.
Lost to Armani.
Yeah. And, you know, MC and DRG that we saw recently, they didn't get to make it, so that was too bad. But, you know, you can't have all your friends at your birthday party.
I never had that problem. Well, we do have a lot of friends in
neither friends nor birthday parties, but please go ahead.
Nice. We have these friends in our birthday parties. This is how the groups looked at. I don't know if there's a clear group of death. I would say that some groups are groups of death for specific players in those groups, but especially these last 4 groups, some absolute madness here, Artosis.
Yeah. All the groups are looking pretty scary. A lot of these groups, it doesn't feel like you can predict too well who's coming out, except for maybe Group F. All the others, though, I look at, I'm like, you know what? There's at least 3 contenders, real contenders in a lot of these groups. I guess Group E and F kind of look one way, but
yeah, I think each group has a player who, if you were forced to choose, could probably have an underdog. You know, players like Armani, who's never made it past the round of 32, and a whole host of perennial kind of GSL Code A gatekeepers, right? So some of them make it in, some of them don't, and each season you're always very excited to find out, okay, well, who are the new faces we're going to see for a brief moment, but we don't want to see them too long because they rarely make it through. But I think if last season is any indicator, there's a chance for a lot of our newer players to really overperform, like guys like Parting, who really had just an astonishing last season, and Special, who's been, I think, overperforming even by his own standards internationally.
Well, I tell you, the finals of WCS is a big deal, and how well he played last season in GSL as well, a big deal. I think it's been a long time coming for him, so very excited to see that. You look at the rest of the group, and, you know, Alive, he hasn't had a strong showing in a couple years, it feels like now.
Right.
And Rogue is so all over the place. So I don't know what to make of this group, to be honest.
I don't either, but I do think that Parting, at least if he performs like he did last season, has a great chance of advancing. He is now sponsored by My First Cell Phone and is here to prove that it's not just a fluke that he did so well last season, make it out of the round of 32.
Pixel 1?
Yeah.
Was he on Player 1 before?
He was on Player 1, and I believe
changed
that's now
their name?
Pixel 1.
Okay.
Because there's actually another Player 1 esports organization out there. So
There's 2.
it turns out you can't have 2 Player 1s, just like me and my brother growing up found out.
Yeah, no, you definitely could not. Okay, well, interesting. From Ocean Gaming, we have Special. You know, this guy, so strong. Definitely one of the best Terrans in the world right now. One of the best foreigners in the world right now. Always spending his time in Korea and really started to deliver. I feel like last season was really his breakout performance. Like, he's been very good for a very long time, but he showed his own styles as well. He wasn't just a slightly worse TY last season, you know?
Well, yeah, it's weird how his destiny is often intertwined with TY. They were intertwined earlier today as TY was his taxi driver, taking him here to GSL, and I'm imagining a lot of their conversations centered around what he is going to do today. I would say TVT, maybe something that Special has a speciality for, but man, how do you prepare against Parting? This guy can really do it all.
He is a good PBT player. Here we go into set number 1 on New Repugnancy. $39.39.
There's some significance there. I'm sure that ties into my horoscope, Artosis. This is
Pixel 1, Party.
Okay, I like it. It rolls off the tongue, you know? And this is
Ocean Gaming, Special.
his team's a little sick because there's a lot of plastic in it right now, but he's a pretty sick player too. That's why they let him on.
Well, at least his team is getting bigger as the ice cap smells. So,
how good a player is Parting? Is he a pro player? He's such a pro player, Artosis.
yeah,
He's so
he is.
good.
That is brutal. Special just like looked sad.
Yeah, you
about
guys
what just
can't
occurred.
see it, but he actually is halfway walking through the crowd out of the studio right now. He's, obviously very upset about this. Now, if you're beyond, then you micro it and you just still build it anyway and you pretend like there's not a worker there, but that is heartbreaking.
That is so heartbreaking. The fact that he proxies this and it gets found instantaneously from Parting. Obviously, you can scout for proxies. He is someone that proxies sometimes. But like if Special had proxied in the other direction, it never gets found, and that's wasted mining time, right? So there's actually a risk that Parting took even with that scout. A small one, but it's there.
Yeah, very polarizing. The stats that you see on your screen right now show that, at least in Legacy of the Void, which is actually very recent in the GSL Season 3 qualifiers this year, Special knocked out Parting and made him come second in that group to advance. But I think that when it comes to the open qualifiers, obviously you can't really prepare for that, whereas Parting's had a chance to prepare for Special for about a week now.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And Parting is a good prep player. I think that Special is as well, though, to be fair. Oh, look at this. I love the little dances that we're seeing like this.
Oh, no!
SCV.
No! Don't do it to him! Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's a decision about how much you want to style on your opponent. The answer was realistically probably not going to happen. And so now Special will get a little tiny bit of revenge against that proxy, but still definitely not the way he wanted to start this game out.
Yeah, it's definitely a rough start, but situations like this. Okay, so it's pretty bad when you have to cancel a proxy barracks, right? It does throw a wrench into everything. I want to say that the game is not just over, okay? I know we just finished up Home Story Cup, and everyone on the couch would have said that the game is over when they scout that.
Well, it's because neither one of us are pro players in StarCraft 2 currently.
Yeah. The thing is, it's bad, but Special's a smart player, right?
That's right.
There's a lot of things that can happen in a game, and let's give him the benefit of the doubt here. Let's see how he's going to fight back.
I would say that there would be maybe more of a chance if, say, Warp Prisms had 11-second warp ins, but maybe on the current patch, I don't know.
One day.
One day, we can dream. So trying to get a little bit of harassment done, I think Special obviously knows that he needs to try to get something going his way. A couple of probes is, something, but not realistically going to change the course of that opening.
So Parting just went for a robo opening here, just making some stalkers as well. Has an observer, but he started the prism then canceled, so I'm not sure exactly what his plan is here. It seems like he's just kind of playing a pretty safe game overall, which is not what I expect from him.
Well, so my thoughts are, okay, well, what are the ways that you come back from a failed proxy opener? Well, you can try to macro your way out of it, but I think Parting is the caliber of player that will be able to just carry that advantage forward.
Okay.
And so maybe he's thinking, okay, Special might try something a little bit crazy and reactionary to that, and so maybe trying to just play safe and take that tiny advantage and make it into a bigger one.
Well, I guess if you look at Special's style overall, he does get aggressive pretty often in the early game. He does lots of proxies, he does a lot of early attacks and whatnot. He's trying to come in here with the draw. Oh my god.
This is about as...
oh, wow.
He actually gets both Widow Mines out?
Yeah, not so bad.
Okay, we hate those probes. Those are the least favorite children. So they get taken out, so do the Widow Mines, and I mean, all in all, I mean, more successful than I would have expected, but I think he still loses the medevac. Yes.
Yeah. Too bad. Probably not quite worth it right there. I think we can all agree on. But Special is going ahead and making another command center. Just kind of teching up. He's got his Raven out here as well. And Parting playing, you know, this, oh, look at that. He really put a lot of emphasis on killing that Observer. But Parting going into both Colossus Tech and Twilight, I mean, this could be Disruptor Blink as well because he has made nothing but Stalkers. Let's see, though, if he wants Colossus or Disruptor.
Yeah, oh, nice one, Reaper. You do get to live another day. So it's going to be out of there. I mean, we see Blink on the way, but that doesn't necessarily tell us exactly what to expect. And I think my question is just going to be for Special, you know, not only how do you get that mentality back in there, we do see it's Colossi, but also, you know, how do you play against kind of the forces of inevitability now that your opponent kind of knows what's coming?
Yeah, you know, I think the Special's doing like all right. His third command center is going to finish before the Nexus. Obviously, the Nexus will be mining first, but the Special's not like that far behind right now or anything. You know, the Forge is just now starting, so we're not going to have some giant upgrade advantage for Protoss, which is oftentimes the case when you get behind. So yeah, I mean, I don't think though that there's any real attack timing here. You know, his stim is about halfway done, and yeah, he does have the Raven out to disable the Colossi, but I feel like in this type of situation, you want to sit back, get your economy really flowing, and macro up larger.
I think that's definitely what Parting has in mind as well. I mean, for Special, maybe that's a little bit of a luxury because in theory, maybe Parting could have pushed the aggressive advantage that he had and maybe gotten something done, but I think kind of better safe here on both sides, and especially the tech that Parting is getting means that by the time he actually does have to fight, he's going to have a lot of extended thermal lance Colossi and should be pretty well prepared for really anything that Special can throw at him.
Well, the Observer doing its rounds, figuring out what's what. Parting, just play. This is like so standard from Parting. It's like really weird for me to even see because I'm used to his very aggressive play overall.
Yeah. No, I turned on Twitch the other day just to like watch some good streams and saw Printf streaming. And I'm just like, okay, well, I know what to expect here. I saw like Coconut Games, like another just all the cannon rushing all the time. And then I saw Parting streaming, and I turn on, and he's instantly cannon rushes. The first game I watched, I'm like, okay, well, you know, I'm just not really going to see any macro games. But now I'm watching him here, and he's actually just doing exactly that, playing it slow and steady, and I mean, poised to win the race.
Wow, real miscontrol there with the Raven. You're definitely not supposed to lose that Raven like that, and he threw down the auto turret a couple times, which was weird.
I think that's kind of like, you know, the Changeling when the Overseer's about to die, it just poops the thing out
sure.
Right before. But you're right, losing that Raven means there's not going to be any interference matrix. It means that you have to devote your starport production to that instead of anything else. And I think he actually has a reactor on that starport, so we say that doesn't help your Raven production.
Well, look at this. 2 factories being added by Special right now. This is fascinating. I believe I know what he's going to do, where you go mass siege tanks with your Bioforce. We've only seen it a few times at pro play, and I've never seen it actually win. But I think that's what we're going to see here. I'd be pretty surprised if it was anything else at this point, but to see these factories added right now, definitely a very different strategy coming out of Special.
I mean, for me, and especially for that Warp Prism, I think we're both really surprised right now. Also, that Stalker was pretty surprised too, because in the face of the army that I just saw from Parting, you know, if I were Special, I'm not really thinking, okay, well, time to get my macro going and build up a large infrastructure, because that push out from Parting, especially sniping that Raven, I thought that was actually like a pretty good moment for him to have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Parting should be feeling pretty confident right now. Everything's going fine for him. I'm actually kind of surprised we don't have a second Forge. I feel like this is a beautiful time to add one down.
You really think that's kind of the distance we're going with this game?
With Parting?
Yes.
Well, I think right now, because he doesn't know about the factories, that he should just be completing his tech setup, right? Double Forge, and get into Psystorm, right? Get a Prism out there and all that. But once he sees the factories, obviously you have to kind of change up what you're doing.
Yeah, you're definitely going to need a little bit more to prevent being kind of outgrown here. Special, I love, Special, I think TY also used to do this a little bit, where you realize that you're in a position where you need to, prepare for something, maybe you're a little bit behind or whatever. You try to get out there on the map and get something done. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like this is that.
No, certainly not that one, but just keeping him busy while he makes these siege tanks is reasonably powerful. This is going to be an army that Parting really does not expect. You never really see a massive siege tanks going against Protoss. And now it looks like Special wants to just go ahead and take his 4th base, but Parting has added his Stargates. So to go into Tempest here is certainly not a bad thing.
So for me, at least when I see the Thermal Lance Colossi early, the Tempest later on, I don't think at any point Parting feels like it feels any pressure this game, especially because of the opening. But for Special, I wonder if that's a good thing, right? Is he just going to kind of breathe a sigh of relief that he gets to play the game for a little bit longer?
Well, I think that after he lost that proxy barracks, the fact that he's gotten into this situation where they're both going to max out, and in fact he's even maxing quicker with a strategy that Parting's not ready for, this is the best case scenario really for him, right? And in Parting, who knows how much practice he has against something like this. Again, I've only seen this 1 or 2 times in the pro scene.
Has a very fast Warp Prism and just barely gets out. Thankfully,
well, that's the new speed of the Warp Prism. I don't know if you saw the notes on the new patch that's going to be coming, but
fast.
You're never even going to see a Warp Prism that's not that fast ever again.
That's right. Why would you ever use it? It's like, no, I just like bad Warp Prisms. No. That's right. So get ready, guys. It's coming.
My strategy is to make slow Zerglings. Like, yeah, that's cool. Okay. So, Special's starting to move out, and I think Parting's starting to figure out what's going on, that there is a funny amount of siege tanks. I guess, I don't know if he's seen exactly how many there are, because I believe there's like 14 right now.
Siege tanks? Oh my god. Well, if we can see the unit counting station, then yeah, that'd be nice, but that's going to surprise maybe Parting a little bit. I don't think he was really able to get an observer into the main, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, I don't think so.
I think he might misjudge that.
Yeah, and this army he has doesn't beat all these siege tanks. Well, I mean,
okay, well,
those storms are all right.
Tell me more, Artosis.
Jeez Louise.
Okay, I mean, he does have 2 Tempests, Tempi, I don't know what those are, Tempos. Up in the air, but I mean, that's going to chip away, and I don't think that Special's really going to give him the opportunity. Sure, the Colossi in the back are going to be okay, and actually, I mean, there's no Ravens here, so that's a lot of, just siege that Parting has to hold on here.
Dude, that amount of siege tanks is so hard to engage against. Like, he needs a Zealot flank or something here. Looks like he's trying to pick away at it, but I don't feel like this is something you can really pick away at. It's dealing its damage way too quick.
Right, and so Parting is going to back off, going to sack that base, save most of the workers, and now I guess Special just picks up and goes back home.
Look at that, leaves a couple tanks there, Siege, so that slows down the army that's trailing him. So many Marauders in here as well. You better not be an armored unit.
Oh no, I mean, this is exactly why siege tanks, kind of like disruptors, are not retreating units exactly. And so really good there by Parting, kind of realized, sees that moment of vulnerability. And hey, behind that, the Warp Prism doing what Warp Prisms do best, and that is put Zealots where you don't want them.
Those
will
are,
also save everything. But
yeah, they're doing all right now. Nice harassment there in the main base. Parting, obviously his army is a lot more mobile, so he's going to come up here and try to get something done. Thor's actually being made now.
Wow, thank goodness for that patch that made them a counter to massive air units. This is really going to be really good for Special to hang on, but I fear that maybe he's being torn in too many different directions and might have lost a little bit too much off of that retreat.
Yeah, possibly. It looks like that Thor gets picked off after the command center. A lot of siege tanks starting to go down as well here. Those Immortals being heroes here.
Yeah, I don't know if Thor's going to be here for very much longer, Artosis. He does get kind of microed back there, and so that will survive. And the Stalkers, of course, not really great to throw into Thors and siege tanks. But, man, both players just really trading massive blows back and forth.
And the Tempest count is really going up quite a bit. So I think we're going to see the continuation of Thors being produced out of these 3 factories. But Special's economy really took a hit here, whereas Parting, he already had his 5th base up in the top left, and he's retaking that 4th that died.
Yeah, and Parting saved most of his workers from losing that base, whereas Special lost most of his, and, sure, mules, but I think the bigger thing is that Parting's tech is still, really, really going to be powerful, especially if he positions these Tempests over this non-destructible terrain in the middle of the map.
A lot of Siege Tanks up here as well. Okay, the Tempests are starting to become a problem. When you get this many, you can really pick off quite a bit. Look at this beautiful Zealot harassment at the same time, a group of them being sent into the natural.
What's happening to our neighborhoods, Artosis? We can't leave our doors unlocked anymore. The Zealots just walk right in. And really, I think that is the icing on the cake for Parting. So many times this game, even when he's taking all that damage from Special's push, he's got the contingency plan of Zealots dealing damage behind it.
You know what, this has just been absurdly solid PvT play from Parting, which is not exactly what I'm used to. Like,
yeah,
he's
not
played very
synonymous
aggressive PvTs, but he's just showing very solid macro. He's having great unit movements, great harassment on the other side of the map while all of this is going down. And, I mean, his macro, everything, he hasn't been too greedy at any point. His defense has been spot on. Beautiful play.
Yeah, that knowledge of exactly when to counter push right after losing the Nexus, not losing too much, and then realizing that vulnerability. I mean, that almost alone is getting him here into this, huge 5 bases, tons of Tempest, high tech, great upgrades. Is there anything Parting doesn't have right now?
Well, he doesn't have a bunch of mining bases or buildings that aren't on fire in his main base.
That's true. I mean, sure, he doesn't
Get
have...
that starport!
No, man, killing that one Marauder, way more important. Also that one Ghost, which also dies. I mean, Storms are a great way to keep you from being chased, and so it almost kind of plays into Parting's hand here. He's going to try to micro those Thors forward and pick off some of these Tempests, but the Storms are everywhere!
Yeah,
oh my God, you can't fight into that! Everything's going down. Parting takes game number 1.
He had 11 High Templars before that. That was absurd. Okay, so that was a very interesting game. Special using this mass tank ad with a mostly bio force. And again, we've seen this, I think, twice in GSL before. And it still hasn't won, but it's an interesting strat. I'm guessing that we saw it from TY previously. That would make sense why Special's doing it. But Parting, even though he didn't realize that there were lots of tanks, he lost his base, he kind of slowed it down, he chased some back, and then his counterattack did pretty well. That plus the Prism in the main, that's really what pulled him into an advantage there, because before that, I think that Special had fought himself into a good spot.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he saw that build coming in time to react with a Tempest, but regardless, he just barely had those 2 out when that push was coming, and then he was able to get, of course, a ton more off of that counter push. Really solid play from Parting. I mean, when that's your opener, right, it really doesn't give your opponent the chance to sort of, look for weaknesses after that, because you didn't do anything super fancy. You just really had perfect play every step of the way.
Yeah, it's very much true. Like, it was preemptive Tempest. He didn't know. You have to assume at that point that, like, oh, they're probably going, like, Mass Liberator, right? That's a very common endgame for Terran against Protoss. So he's just adding on his Tempest at a normal time. He's already got Colossus. He's already got a good amount of bases. His upgrades are going steadily, not super quickly. He has his Psy Storm. Yeah, why not add some Tempest? And then, I mean, that turned out to help him a lot that game.
For sure. I mean, I thought there was this, like, tipping point where maybe he has, like, one less Colossi or Tempest, or where maybe there's the opportunity for Special to maybe get more damage done or hit so quickly that Parting's army isn't in position. But instead, everything is exactly where it needs to be, and Special really lost a ton off of that counter push. I guess when you go for that strategy, how do you turn around? Because it didn't look like Parting really gave him too much of an opportunity.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it's hard to retreat with an army like that, right?
Yeah.
And he had lost most of his medevacs. He had lost most of his Marines. We had seen all those ridiculous storms as he was coming up. So it did turn into kind of an awkward situation, but probably better than trying to go forward and just losing all your tanks.
Right.
Yeah, I think that the main problem more was the Prism getting into the back of the main base and then losing that command center and all those units up at his original third, right?
Yeah.
That's, like, yeah, you can lose some units running away. I think he's still fine as long as that counterattack doesn't do so much.
Well, Parting with a Game 1 win. I think this is kind of revenge for Parting after Special made him work even harder in the offline qualifiers. But I don't know. I didn't expect that much of a totally standard play, obviously, because we characterize our players, and Parting is kind of defying all of those. A lot of people said, well, you can't come back after a long break as a pro player. I think last season really proved us wrong there.
Yeah.
And even this characterization of him as this sort of like cheesy, overly flamboyant player. I mean, I didn't really see, it sounds bad to say I didn't see a lot of character in that play, but it was just really standard.
Yeah. I mean, if you just show us that game with the nameplate covered up, A lot of people just look at that and be like, oh, maybe that's stats or something, just very solid macro play. But, I mean, well done from Parting. Let's not forget, though, he did open up scouting and forcing a cancel on a proxy barrack. So that was a terrible start for Special, and he still made a game out of it.
Well, we're moving on to our new map this season. We've gotten rid of, it's not King's Cove, it's Port Alexander. Yeah, we got rid of Port Alexander, and we put in Acropolis, which, at least from what I was checking...
we got rid of Kairos Junction. That's what we got rid of.
Okay, all right. It's Acropolis. It's game 2. Let's go.
Pixel 1, Party. Ocean Gaming, Special.
And is just me, or is like literally half the crowd cheering for Special? I know we have a lot of non-Koreans that come down to watch. Oh, he finally found the right ID. It only took him, what, 12 years?
Well, you know what? You're going to have to find the rest of his signs underneath his chair.
Oh, he's got like 5 more of those?
He definitely has more IDs than that.
That's true. Cute Angel, man. That was mine.
Windy, Go see Terran.
I always thought it was an L, so I used to call him Gosel Terran.
Oh, God.
But it was, yeah.
Yeah, no, capital I.
Okay.
Battlenet fonts.
Thank God we've moved on from there.
Totally.
What was TY's old name? It was like Baby, and then for a while he went as like Sizz Beggar, Sizz something or other.
Oh, that was
for
probably
that
just like a clan.
It was it was a strange time out there, but we finally settled on some good IDs. Let's make something special. Aww. I feel like you could put that on a Valentine's Day card and get 100% success rate.
Of course.
Just like I had for all of my Valentine's Day cards, Artosis. It's a very happy memory kind of time of year for me.
Okay, yeah, it's your birthday, actually.
That's true, but that's the only reason it's a happy memory time of year. Oh, boy.
You're always grumpy on Valentine's Day. I
Wonder
would say
why,
it's funny, but it's
Artosis.
your birthday, so not really.
That's right.
So look at that. You actually, I hadn't realized that would completely block the SCV from
No, I
the sea.
definitely thought that maybe if that SCV had skipped out on that last DQ blizzard, maybe he could have made it through there.
But they're so good.
They are so good. I literally had one last week. Ugh.
So Nexus into Stargate here from Parting, whereas Special is taking his expansion, just teching up pretty normally.
Bet you didn't know the SCV was coming. Wow, that is actually
this?
fantastic. How does that happen?
Oh, he feels like he's throwing Special off a little bit, though.
Or maybe, yeah, Special is just kind of thrown off either by Parting or sometimes, especially one of the banes of Major back then or Special now, as he got late on into tournaments, is that if he started off with a couple of losses, he'd really get inside of his own head.
Yeah.
And obviously, you don't want to start off with a loss for sure, but little things like that definitely don't help put you in a good frame of mind.
Yeah, I would say so, like losing that first thing, and now it's like not having the full confirmation scout is a little bit annoying. Phoenix is going to be made here by Parting as opposed to Oracles.
This is really interesting because he's not obviously going to go for at least the immediate Oracle harass. He's also not proxying anything. I feel like that was kind of the weird theme of last season is how many weird Protoss builds can we get where they just put stuff out on the map. It felt like they were like, Maru playing Protoss. But this is super standard play. I mean, I don't know if Phoenixes are super standard, but there's at least one.
It's a fine opener, to be honest. And especially when you have a situation like this, like these Adepts are getting so much work done. They've reduced the Marine count actually quite a bit. They're keeping him really, really busy. When you add all that up together, I mean, when the Phoenixes come over, they should be able to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, I don't think they've been scouted, of course, because all of that scouting information was totally denied early on, and so, very potent when they hit for the first time. Now let's see if the little Hellion that can get across the map and finally get that important scouting information that Special needs. But I don't think it's going to see the Phoenixes in time. the Phoenicians.
No, certainly they will not see that. But you know what? Cloaked Banshee can be kind of a funny counter to Stargate. You wouldn't think so, but oh my God. Ooh, good hit right there.
You hate to see him do it to him. I remember there used to be that meta where you hide the Widow Mine in just a random place for the Oracle. Works pretty well against Phoenixes. One of them obviously very, very low. There's only 3, so not that many lift up. And another one!
Wow.
The
really
DJ
good.
Khaled mine in the mineral line.
Why is it a DJ Khaled mine?
Because there's another one. That's like the only other line that he says besides DJ Khaled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the other one. You now completely grok his existence on this planet.
I love it.
Okay, well, about that Stargate counter there, Artosis.
Yeah, not this time.
Nope.
But you know what? The fact that the Phoenix harassment really didn't get that much done, a lot of times, especially when you get those adepts in there like that, those Phoenixes will actually do some serious work, but a couple good Widow Mine hits, pushes them back, they go back for the Banshee, and everything's kind of stabilized, but Parting's on 3 bases very quickly. He's adding his tech quite quickly as well, and it doesn't feel like there's some sort of attack timing coming up for Special.
Yeah, and last game, after Special was kind of behind after that failed proxy opener, he actually got his 3rd command center pretty fast. Not quite the same situation here, and it feels like he's continuing to try those tiny little harassment moves like he did in Game 1, and once again, they're really not working out. And this push obviously does not have 15 tanks with it.
No, it does not. But what is the army looking like here for Parting? Has he done a little bit too much to hold on against this? He's got a Colossus on the way. He's got a few Phoenixes and some Gateway units. But against 2 mines, a tank, and this many Marines, that little podunk army is not going to be able to hold it.
Yeah, there's 3 emergency shield batteries being warped in, but those are desperation batteries because you're right, Artos, he just doesn't have that much on the ground.
Yeah, especially with this bunker going up, that it makes it much more scary as well. So, mind what I said before, this attack timing is working out beautifully, but let's see if the Colossus can change this up. Flies in, picks up those siege tanks. Very important moment right there.
Yeah, beautiful lift, but there's no charge on these Zealots. They are very slow, and they evaporate almost immediately. Relifts on those tanks, but the Phoenixes aren't going to be able to lift them for long, and this is it. That's all Parting has.
Oh, man, I think he actually messed up his micro there a little bit. He could have hit those Marines a few more times with the Colossus, but now the Nexus falls.
And man, that's huge. That's exactly what Special wanted, and I don't think he's going to lose everything off of this retreat like he did last time.
No, he's certainly not. And look at that. He's adding 2 factories behind.
Ooh.
But this is not mech. I mean, this is not bio into the siege tanks. This is mech.
A big switch here, and I think it's one that I think Special bought himself plenty of time to do. He's going to have this 3rd base, which is now a 3rd base over his opponent instead of behind like it was previously. And I really like what Special has done as kind of, well, not an adaptation, but just a build choice to go for, whereas his push was very strong, but a little bit later in Game 1, he pushes a little bit faster after knowing that the Phoenixes might have done a little bit of damage, but not enough to stop that push.
Yeah, I'm going to have to talk to Special about this a little bit afterwards and see if the Phoenixes played any role, because we noticed in previous seasons that when Phoenix openers were occurring, a lot of times Maru was going into mech against that because they kind of can't attack you too quickly. And now when, look at this situation, right? It doesn't feel as if there's any way for Parting to attack anytime soon. If you're sitting defensively with siege tanks, Blink Stalker Colossus is not going to attack you unless it's Patience controlling it.
That's true. If there's one thing he does, then that might be it. Coming in with, finally, I think the first successful Banshee harassment of this game, and it comes at a time where there's just nothing there to defend. I think it's really kind of a testament to Parting's vigilance that he's been able to stop all of them up until this point. But eventually, Special finds a way.
Yeah, you're going to if you keep sending them.
I think that's what, like the 4th or 5th Banshee in there?
Yeah, I think it is actually, but look, 4 kills, gets away, so good on him. Not a really overly important unit right now. Maybe you can send it back later and tax him a bit more, but just look at these stats right now. 70 SCVs to 64 probes, and it's Blink Stalker Colossus against siege tanks.
Yes, in general, not the best things against siege tanks.
That's not what you're looking for.
Yeah, and I mean, there's only one Phoenix. Obviously, most of them died earlier. He lost a couple scouting, so all of that tech that he invested for the mid-game hasn't been able to snowball into the future, unlike every unit that Terran has, which, all matters at every stage of the game forever.
Yeah, the scaling of these armies definitely is an important aspect, and like siege tanks just scale beautifully. Like the more you get, the more powerful they are, and later into the game they just continue to add that value. Whereas, you know, you look at this army, it's like, are these Colossi going to be overly useful at any point in this game? I mean, maybe. Maybe they are.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's possible.
I mean, he's going to be getting, you know, the kind of the next wave of units. That's why we see disruptors on the way to transition out of that. But you know, you can't re-roll your Colossi into disruptors. This isn't you know, a StarCraft auto battler where you can sell one of unit to buy more of a different kind.
Sounds like a great idea. Better start a game company and make
It's
one
clearly
of
the
those.
future, Artosis. I don't know why you're so you know, stuck in the past.
Yeah, I truly am.
I'm just so
I played
disappointed.
StarCraft 1 this morning. I'm casting StarCraft 2 right now.
I'm so disappointed that this game requires both players to individually control their units instead of watching the units control themselves on the screen like a real esport.
Well, I mean, hold on. Both players. I mean, from what I've heard, Parting's army is basically doing this all itself.
Oh, I mean, he is playing Protoss, but you know, it's about as close as you can get.
Gotcha.
He's just ahead of the game.
All right. So the disruptors are kind of an interesting thing. Like, disruptor Blink Stalker is just a very mobile force, and you can kind of slow down anything from attacking you forever with enough disruptors. So I wonder if that's what his idea is, or is he going to try to go right on the edge of these siege lines and send in the disruption shots? I'm not so sure. But it seems like he's trying to get a trade here against Special. I want Special to slow down a little bit.
Right, well, oh, wow, okay, Special maybe got a little bit of a taste for Parting's kind of volatility. Once again, the harassment on the other side being stopped. Okay, not being stopped. One cannon is not going to do that. But hey, look at, he's using these Blink Stalkers in kind of creative ways. Unfortunately, you know, the creativity there is much
overrated right there.
Like many starving artists, you know, just being creative is not good enough.
No, that was not the best use of his stalkers, but that's all right. Carrier production is now beginning.
Is that the way, Artosis?
Actually, I really like carriers against mech still. I think that they're actually quite strong against it. So happy to see him going for that, but obviously you need to kind of slow him down. You want to be poking him. You want to make it units like siege tanks and Hellions when you're going into carriers.
Yeah, absolutely. Trading away the Stalkers feels a little bit you know, unnecessary, but I think a lot of that is to kind of keep Special back. He hasn't been able to push out at all.
I think he thought he could get a better trade with them, and everything went wrong.
Yeah.
But it's like...
Well, everything went wrong like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
So now finally, Special is able to start moving out on the map. This is where these disruptors are finally going to kick in.
Yeah. I mean, you can't get up that hill.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
Maybe the same thing that came over Parting to trade away his Stalkers is going to come over Special trying to push up that hill. Hopefully not. Zealots forward, so this is Purification Novas. Whoa!
Nice hit right there, no doubt.
That is fantastic. So a first of hopefully many for Special, or for Parting, as he attempts to stop Special from getting any purchase elsewhere on the map.
And look, Special right now is still just really mass-producing these ground units. So the carriers are going to do a very good job, I think, when they finally pop out.
And now he's got plenty of supply to build those carriers with after losing all of those disruptors. And especially the loss of disruptors means that it's not as painful anymore for these siege tanks to unsiege, move forward, start that leapfrog. These carriers really haven't come online just yet.
Just a few of them right now. He's actually missing a bit of an opportunity to poke a bit more with those, I think. I mean, there are some Cyclones in here, so you have to be careful on letting them lock on. But with this many disruptors, I feel like he can guard them.
That's right, Purification Nova coming forward. Does get a nice hit on that tank. It goes down. There's still so many in the back, though. We got to use these carriers so well. But Marine DPS is actually almost just enough to take these interceptors out.
Yeah, actually, nice split there. I didn't think those Marines would still be useful, but here they are actually doing a good job gunning down some interceptors.
Yeah, the interceptors just can't come out fast enough to deal with the anti-air threat on the ground.
You know, overall, though, the carriers, they are pushing everything back. They're forcing Special to turn around and run a bit. But he is adding in some more anti-air. He's adding a lot of mines. He's adding a lot of Cyclones in here. And, of course, with Drilling Claws, mines... You know, they're pretty effective in these situations. They can kill all the interceptors. If you get them underneath, obviously they can kill the carriers themselves.
Yeah, if you want to carpet bomb them like Mario would do, then maybe try that one out. But I think for right now, the lack of... Oh, my God. Carriers getting in range of Widow Mines, Artosis.
It does happen sometimes against mech. That's how I lose carriers occasionally, but, you know.
Oh my god, another one?
Yeah. Well, now you need detection here as well because they have drilling claws.
You see the moral support or observer coming through. It's like, I know, I need this now. Well, you needed it maybe a couple minutes ago. Now only one carrier. He's having to remake carriers, which just absolutely sucks.
Yeah, his economy is not really looking too hot, but he has made Special go home for a little bit. Maybe he can find something in here now?
Well, those Widow Mines are finding things, Artosis. Holy hell, those connections are just... these are going to be what Parting Nightmare is about later on.
Did not know that nightmare was a verb, but...
Well, a dream in theory is the good one, right?
Yeah.
So the nightmare is the bad one.
Sure.
So if dream can be a verb, then nightmare is one too.
Ah, all right.
Also one of those legacy players that's probably not making it into GSL Codex.
No. Oh,
Whoa.
Very good disruptor shot
I tell
right
you,
there.
he lost most of them, but he saved the one that mattered, Artosis. That was
Yeah.
really getting work done. I wish we could see like a kill count. Trying to harass with Zealots off on the other side, but thankfully this time there's a PF for Special. Not going to take any more of that damage. Another win. Does burrowing claw, tunneling claws give you the not tunneling claws? They're not roaches. Does that give
Drilling
them
claws.
longer range? Burrow, tunnel.
Like adaptive talons, adaptive talons.
That's what they get. Yeah, that makes them able to shoot their spikes faster. I know what that does.
Yeah, okay, so right now it looks good for Special. Like, Parting just got a few very good trades right in a row. But I kind of like this situation for his opponent. Like, you know, Special has a little bit more going on. His economy hasn't been touched in a very long time. And I think that the army that Parting is making, this is a decent army for dealing with attacks that are incoming, but what else does it do?
You mean Parting as well? I mean, maybe it will deal with this round, but there's so much more behind this. This is sort of like the mobile test the waters portion of Special's mech army, and so maybe this gets pushed back, but I feel like there's so much economy now far behind it, and Parting is not going to be able to expand in the same way, so it feels like a little bit too little too late.
Well, walking out and these armies are so
6,
funny looking.
10 Widow Mines.
My God.
One for every carrier
They walk
it's going to
so
kill.
funny.
They definitely walk faster than carriers,
The
for
great
sure.
enemy of mass Widow Mines, the photon cannon.
It's going to get them every
They
time.
can't do anything against that.
No, man, it's like trying to storm photon cannons. That doesn't do anything either.
Oh.
What, I mean, what do you do as Parting? I feel like you're, tiptoeing through the literal landmines, and he never is able to quite take those out.
Well, his carrier count's growing a little bit right now, so that's good. He's continuing upgrades, but of course we see that Special's a bit ahead as far as that goes. More Colossus on the way, I think, because this is turning into a little bit more battle mech. Colossus are actually pretty good at zoning out the mines as well.
Ooh! These are just coming at the worst possible moments, and it's almost a little bit comical. If you have a cloaked unit, obviously you deal with the detection and it makes it more powerful, but for Protoss, I'm just always used to them having observers where they need to, unlike, every game that I play. So it's a big difference. And even more hits. Obviously, those not quite as good as previously, but I mean, these are just so valuable for Special.
Well, they just continue to gain value for him throughout the game here. Now look at this. Oh my God, now those Colossus actually being really, really worthwhile. I love the scans trying to take out these observers. Look at that, trying to take down this Nexus.
And
doesn't quite get it.
Yeah, not able to do that. Burrowing on the high ground, of course, Colossi and carriers can be able to take those out. Finally, dealing with the Widow Mine threat, but oh my God! Right as I say that, even more starting to connect. I can't tell the difference between the lines that the Cyclones draw and the lines that the lock-on from the Widow Mines
really?
do.
Yeah.
I never thought that there would be a need to color code those so that we can tell. You know how they changed like Glaive updated, upgraded depths?
Oh yeah, they've done that with so many things.
I gotta figure out what the line is. Like, do I have to pull back?
Well, against either, probably yes.
Yes, well, I mean, maybe
but
your
one you
reaction's
can
the
blink
same.
out of, right, very easily.
Yeah.
So, anyways, moving forwards, I mean, this army it's getting better. I love that he's adding the carriers slowly but surely. It didn't feel like it was gonna work out a couple times when he was down to like 1-2 carriers, but his army is getting scarier and scarier right now, and it doesn't feel like just Widowmine Cyclone is necessarily the answer.
Yeah, especially these Cyclones. I mean, you talked about how maybe it's an army that Parting can defend against, but I feel like it's not really doing anything else either. I mean, I guess theoretically it's there to get those lock-ons and, you know, play the kite away game, but it's also here to, like, one-shot next side, so it's definitely going to do that.
Yeah, that's a very quick, clean kill right there. Let's see how much he loses running away, though.
Well, especially
Not
with the
that
carriers
bad, actually.
here.
Not that bad.
He's got to watch out for the Widow Mines. Just the threat. Oh, here they go. Oh, my God! Oh, they're going everywhere. Unfortunately, not really target fired on those carriers, but they do get some nice connections.
There are these mines are getting so many hits.
There's more out there, Parting.
My God. It's time to just go 3 Robo Observer, I think. This is just, it's madness how many kills Widow Mines have actually gotten in this game.
Even more lock-ons and probably some Widow Mines here too. I'm just waiting for the detonations at this point, Artosis. Look at how many there are!
Oh, I know. He's having such a hard time clearing them. He does have the disruptors, so it's doable.
Well, he doesn't even know those are... Oh, I guess he knows they're detonated, but that finally clears them out. Okay.
I was going to say, maybe he's having the same problem you're having here.
Well, because all you have to do is mistake one of them for detonated when it's not, and you lose everything.
A little bit indecisive there with that disruptor hit, but starting to get quite a few good ones.
Oh, man, another huge hit right on the meaty center.
Oh, yeah. This carrier's starting to fall right now.
You know, I don't think Cyclones are really the answer here, but combined with these Widow Mines, they're certainly getting the job done.
Yeah, it's like the Cyclones are the thing that if you mess up at all, if you aren't actively microing against them, they will get you.
We've lost 51 Cyclones to 70 Stalkers on the other side.
51 Cyclones? There's 51 Widow Mines gone, too.
Oh, my God.
That's crazy.
Maybe they're just reactored out of factories that have parity. I don't know.
Maybe that is it.
Perhaps that is the reason, Artosis.
I'm always wondering about things like that.
No,
but look, the Widow Mines are really what is working for Special. I'm really surprised that he continues to stay on this comp, but I guess it's hard to micro against and everything. I feel like Special is Parting just like moving too quickly.
I think he's getting a little bit ahead of himself.
Every time he's burrowing stuff, it's like, okay, now just wait for a disruptor shot. Okay, now go again. And
well, you know, it's a little bit like a rhythm game. You know, you have all these beats that you have to hit. It's like, okay, here are the timers for the Widow Mines. Here's the timers for the my disruptors. You know, when will I have those when I need them? And also, you know, the lock-ons, the cooldown for that. You really have so much to keep an eye on here. And finally, it looks like Parting has just really been pushed back. Sure, he managed to get an extra base, but it feels like that's just been used to fuel units that die to Widow Mines.
As everything is, really. It's crazy. But okay, so right now, Special pulling back a little bit more. He is continuing to expand her in this, even though he lost one base back there. See this? He is scanning quite a bit, trying to pick off the observers. This is so interesting to see him really, like, you know, sometimes you'll get into a situation where you're like, oh, I got to do something quick that's like a little bit iffy to try to deal with this type of composition, then you see something like this. But the fact that he is continually staying on these units and kind of making it work,
well, you know, when you
it doesn't feel like it's supposed to.
Right, eventually you want to transition, right? But he's not, he's just making more of it.
Like, there has to be something else that you want to do here. Maybe there's not, though. Maybe he's decided that this is actually the best way to deal with all this.
Ooh.
Like, Widow Mines are not that expensive, but, you know, he's losing like 10 in a battle. I'm like, well, I mean, that's something, isn't it?
Maybe I'm seeing things, but I'm almost sure that the Widow Mines, so they track onto units and they can hit like interceptors, right?
Yes.
And so sometimes the interceptors obviously have to return.
Yeah, they pull back over.
Yeah. So I several times I've seen the Widow Mines lock onto an interceptor that's returning to the carriers and get the damage done that way, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
Never really thought about that before. Oh no!
That is happening quite a bit. Oh my
Every
God.
explosion in this game is something that is just absolutely terrifying, really on both sides. Finally some momentum getting behind Parting as he takes that base out and isn't able to take one out on the other side.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it doesn't feel like he's going to be able to do this with this many good disruptor hits. Oh, he actually kills that one before it wrecks his army, so good on him for that. But a lot of interceptors left over here.
This is really exciting because it feels like finally Parting might have found a way to just barely reach that critical mass, and that's going to do it. GG. Parting somehow, you know, it's the 51st Widow Mine that doesn't kill him after all of the ones before did. He survives at the end and takes Special out in the second game.
You know, I don't know about just staying on that forever.
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty cool and it worked. It worked several times, but Yeah, it seems like that's tough to pull off completely in the late game once your opponent kind of calms down and deals with it in a more methodical manner. So Special will fall to the loser's match. I don't think that necessarily means that he's out. Alive and Rogue are both beatable opponents for him. Up next, we'll see who goes to that winner match and who plays Special.
Lost track of the forest through the trees, forgot what I was chasing. Spent so many nights living out at sea that my heart is gone vacant. And everybody who was close to me all stayed on dry land. So now I'm driving back on Interstate West, I just gotta feel something. Not gonna wait till the morning, because something's gonna change my mind. I don't wanna change my mind. Oh, I wanna stay right here, chilling with my friends for another year. I would walk away from the spotlight for the good life. Oh, come on, turn your hate into poetry, pain into power, enemies to friends, and your minutes into hours. I would walk away from the spotlight for the good life, for the good life. Send my best friend an apologetic text, he says to come over. Well, the whole damn town has been waiting for the day when you would come back here. There was dancing and talking and steaks on the grill, and I think that I will be alright. And my ex from high school still looks just the same as she did back in 2009. Not gonna wait till the morning, let's never put the night on ice. Never put the night on ice. Oh, I wanna stay right here, chilling with my friends for another year. I would walk away from the spotlight for the good life. Oh, come on, turn your hate into poetry, pain into power, enemies to friends, and your minutes into hours. I would walk away from the spotlight for the good life, for the good life. And they all said I was crazy for leaving my money, but it never made me happy alone. Life is just too short to never do what you want to. What do you want to do? Oh, I wanna stay right here, chilling with my friends for another year. I would walk away from the spotlight for the good life. Oh, come on, turn your hate into poetry.
역사의 한 패를 장식한
어떤 카드를 던질까에 대해서 머릿속으로 진짜 고민이 많아질 수밖에 없는 상황이
제일 차면 주고자 골든 트로피의 주인공이 됩니다. 완전 연승 달리고 있는 맹스텔에서는 지지 않는 포스를 뽐내고 있는데 진짜 이걸 잡아요. GSL
에브리바디 째째
이미 서론 들릴 수도 있겠고
살아봐야 돼 태양 걔 어떻게든 살아나라 포기하지 말자
2019 Mountain Dew GSL Season 3 Codex Reversal.
Welcome back. We just had Parting 2-0 special. Very nice series, though, I would say, overall. Both went to very long, interesting macro games with various amounts of mech units from Special.
And now, because this is the season of Reversal, we get to play that game all over again. No, we're moving on. We can't be totally thematically correct, even though I'm going to really hammer that home over the course of this broadcast. This is Alive, and I think he's by far kind of the underdog of this group. Kind of used to be this perennial round of 16 kind of player. You know, he's had some good super tournaments in the past, but I think specifically 2018, even the early part of 2019 now, maybe not really his year.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one. The last couple of years haven't been his year, unfortunately. He doesn't look as strong as he did once upon a time. And I say it with a heavy heart, kind of goes for Rogue as well right now. Rogue needs to do better this season.
Yep.
Or he's not going to BlizzCon. And this guy he has been the top 3 Zerg in the world forever, but like right now, I wouldn't put up a strong argument that he's top 3.
Yeah, I remember when this was an IAM Rogue tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, he has had kind of the highest of highs, and like you said, was always in that top Zerg conversation.
Yeah.
But lately, he has really, really struggled. And you're right, he will need a top 4 finish, just based on the way the point standings are right now, to get over that threshold and qualify for BlizzCon.
So does the top 4 lock him? Do you know?
So the only thing you can predict are the way that the standings are right now, right?
Yeah.
So you need to, at minimum, reach more points than the person who has more points than you.
And we still have one more super tournament.
Right, so there are more points out there, but right now, if he got top 4, then that would put him over.
Okay.
The game's ready. We're heading on to Thunderbird for our first match. It's not 39-39. They ruined our synergy, Artosis.
But we're counting
Africa S2 Alive.
And now he has a team anymore, so I can't say any of those like stupid things that end in Alive.
Yeah.
I'll never make it into the YouTube highlight videos now. Well, maybe he won't. Maybe this guy won't either. Well, maybe he will. I don't know. I really want to see. I always hate seeing those like legendary players kind of start to, fall off and dwindle away. And I definitely think that, at least from kind of watching Rogue recently in online tournaments, his results have been actually fantastic. But when it comes to offline, which is obviously GSL and tournaments where you have to really prepare ahead of time, I don't know. Maybe this is Alive's chance to kind of reclaim his glory. But they're both fighting kind of for that same thing.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Now, this is a very aggressive opening by Rogue. Like, this is like a 13-12 basically. So let's see what he wants to do with it. I mean, it might be just so simple as send your Zerglings across the map, get that cancel, maybe break the wall as well, because I mean, a lot of live fans out there, but I'm sure that somewhere downstairs, No Regret is wiggling right now, because this is one of his builds where you break through the reactor and stuff. It's like he has told me, and I think most of the world, all about all the various ways you can destroy good players with this build.
Yeah, and you mentioned breaking through the reactor. I mean, Thunderbird is one of our kind of wackier maps where there are a lot of different, pathways that you would not necessarily traditionally be able to travel, especially if you want to mine those out, with bring in some drones. Or there's a lot of crazy stuff you can do, and certainly this is one of them. But especially with this Reaper getting out here, let's see how many Zerglings he's going to be able to notice.
Well, he's keeping them over there, and now all these things get to go for the counter. So
let's see what the reaction is.
I think that this is probably a canceled CC, right?
I mean, it's yeah, there it is.
Yeah, there's no other way to do it. And notice how he cancels his add-on and then floats this immediately. That was a really great move by Alive.
Yeah, you never want to have that moment where you have to spam rebuild the add-on and it keeps getting taken down. You have to block. It's just total tragedy. But now he's able to re-wall because of that cancel.
Okay, so, now you don't have an add-on. You just restarted your command center. It's kind of a tough spot for Alive, but let's not forget, a lot of the economy was thrown away by Rogue to do this.
Certainly. And even though he is droning behind this, he's not like completely like hard committing to this. Who do you think was like more set behind there? Because for Alive, everything is just going to be way later. But I mean, maybe Rogue realizes there's the pressure is off, so he can just redrone.
Yeah, he's certainly going to be able to redrone, and let's not forget he kind of has some map control. You're kind of forcing the Reaper to be back.
Right.
Your opponent's playing a little bit in the dark. They have to play slightly defensively. But I feel like Alive reacted. Wow, that was really nice. But I feel like overall, Alive reacted basically perfectly. He did not screw around with the command center. He did not screw around with spam rebuilding tech labs to hold, right? That's what you see a lot of the times against this build.
Yeah.
So I think that he dealt with it well. So while I'm feeling fine about the overall position of the Terran player, I still feel like Rogue is okay just because Alive hasn't shown, you know, the ability to win in GSL this year, as brutal as that is to say.
Yeah, I mean, he's good enough to qualify for this tournament, but to give you a context, in order to qualify, he lost the first day's qualifier, and then on the second day's qualifier, he beat Nice and Armani and qualified that way.
Okay.
I think it was Armani. Yeah.
I mean, Armani's pretty good, but, you know, that's not... You're not knocking out someone that's a round of 32 player every season, and you're not knocking out a round of 16 player for sure. So, not the hardest path.
Yeah, and I think for Alive, you know, he also recognizes that he has a lot to prove here. You know, we might say it, but obviously the players feel it when their performances haven't been, you know, living up to the hype. But I don't know. I'm open-minded. So let's see what the follow-up is going to be. There's a Banshee on the way, 2 more racks in production, and we're getting double engineering bay behind it too.
Yeah, a lot of spores went up there by Rogue, so he's pretty ready for this harassment. Baneling Nest coming up, more Lings being made. Not sure exactly what the... Oh, is he... Oh, wait, no, never mind. I was like, is he going to do a drop? No, he sees the command center. Anyways, not sure if Rogue is going to like pull the trigger and try to get aggressive again.
I mean, I don't think so. Obviously, we do see the Baneling Nest coming down, but he's just massively droning behind this. So not really. Kind of both players recognizing, wait, this is the place where we power up and get ready for phase 2.
I wonder if the Baneling Nest is a nod towards the possibility of a Hellbat Banshee push, right? That's definitely something that you see from time to time. I can't think of why else you'd be having a Baneling Nest right now, but 5 gases going down at once seems about right.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess that's a good way to put him. To use
gas. Let's get 5 of them.
I mean, he's also building double Evo chamber, right? So he's going to pump some of that into there and continuing to expand and build more drones. He's going up to, I think, 60, about 60 when all this is said and done, 65, 70. He's just not stopping. I mean, Rogue was a little bit of that Zerg TY for a while where he'd just get comically high drone numbers.
Well, I really like that style of play no matter what race you play. If you want to get 80, 90 workers, I think it's an awesome way to play. It can get a little bit confusing because your standing army power won't be as strong as your opponent's, but there's ways to play around that, and Rogue is definitely a master of those types of ways. Now, both of them do have upgrades on the way. Obviously, we see Alives are a lot quicker. He kind of did get himself into this position with that great reaction to the Zergling Rush. So, you know, we might have a pretty strong timing attack coming out of Alive in the future.
I hope so, because, man, I just see it so often where the Terran player will kind of pull back and maybe play a little bit too defensively, especially after they're faced with such heavy aggression early on. And, you know, right now that's the kind of the mode that Alive is in. He's like, oh, I just need to make sure that I build my depot walls and have all of my defense set up. And this is his way of getting out on the map, trying to clean up the creep a little bit and maybe have an option to do something aggressive.
Yeah, clearing some of this creep is really important right now. What Alive should be aiming for is a maxed out 2-2 timing push. Because if he hits that, he's going to be up 2 upgrades. His army's going to be at like peak strength. Rogue is like, I mean, it looks like it's going to be Lingbane Muta here from Rogue, and max out 2-2. As long as you micro that, control that correctly, you're going to be in a good spot as Alive, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're not quite maxed out just yet, but I don't think that there's anything. Certainly, Alive's not going to push the issue before we get there. So this is good job controlling this creep. We haven't seen creep make it beyond the halfway point in the map, and that's kind of strange for a game that has been this passive, because usually you'll just see chaotic creep spread during these moments.
Well, keeping that back is so important, like we mentioned before. Now, there's a second factory on the way, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I think he'll probably switch into mines, but right now he has produced tanks mostly. A move out occurring. I wonder what his idea is with this. Like, is he going to try really hard to push the fourth? It seems that way.
A good job raising the depot right there, but obviously everything else outside that depot is probably not going to have a great day. And even though he pulls the majority of those links back, he might really not have even needed to. I mean, there's not really that much coming back for it, but here are the mutas, and that's really going to be the tech switch that I'm not sure Alive would have noticed. Obviously, he saw the spire with a scan, but still, this is going to require a lot to deal with, especially without that turret in the mineral line.
Has one at the natural, so that's good at least. The Muta's going to jump on it immediately, though. Rogue showing absolutely no fear. Does have to run away as the Marines stem up, though.
He's absquatulating there, Artosis.
Yes,
that was
he absquatulated those Mutas very quickly.
Yeah, now he gets in, and watch as he absquatulates right back out again. Actually, no! There's not enough Marines there, Artosis!
Wow, he should have absquatulated his Marines. He
That's
should have known.
You are correct. Your analysis impeccable as always. Yeah, now every other Terran unit might have to run away too. These tanks left unprotected, fodder for the swarm.
Oh my God, those tanks getting Sasquatchulated right there.
That's right. No one will believe they ever existed.
No, certainly. Ling Bane just kind of rolling in right now.
No micro on the Marines either. Everything just dying. Man, out of nowhere, Rogue just exploding over everything that Alive has.
Yeah, I feel like we can see a difference in player skill by a little bit here. Like, Rogue pulled his attention a little bit. I feel like Alive lost a bit more Marines than he should have, a bit more SCVs than he should have here as well. And now his 2-2 is finishing. So if everything went right, he'd be maxing out right about now and pushing, right? This would be the perfect time, and you should have siege tanks with it or mines or whatever. You know, but he lost those 3 siege tanks in the front of the Lings. Basically, this situation went from this could have been amazing to, okay, we have to play a longer macro game. And the long macro games are oftentimes the places where Alive falls apart.
Yeah, it's clear that he understands how to navigate maybe the early and mid game, but right, when it comes to these later game situations, I don't think historically he's shown a lot of strength there. So
yeah,
some Baneling landmines laid, changelings out there getting scouting. I mean, Rogue seems to really be taking charge of this game. He's gotten pretty much all of the bases on his side of the map. He's just now expanding to his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And instead of being able to push out and put on pressure, like you were saying, Alive now has to sit back and defend that fledgling base he's just now getting up.
Yeah, you know, at least he is on 4 bases. Like, if he had to start that 4th command center or something, that would have been just the worst. But looks like Rogue, that's kind of cute. Mine's out there to get a little bit of Baneling harassment going on.
See how good. Okay, well, we'll never know how that story ends, but they're. Oh no! Okay, I thought those were flanking Banelings, but they're still gonna get in here. Barely.
Oh my.
Oh my God! 10 SCVs cry out, and we're suddenly silenced. 15 in the end, and there's more. Zerg flooding through the tiny cracks in this mineral armor.
Oh my gosh.
Thankfully, Marines are good, so he holds on there, but still losing more and more.
Rogue is playing a really strong game, man.
Oh, and a Nidus too.
Really strong game.
So, I mean, the old meme used to be that Rogue was the sexy boy, but he's reclaiming. Oh, okay,
wow.
All right, that was pretty sick. Oh,
wow. Many wow.
Some attractive Widow Mines there. It's a good day to be a Widow Mine, Artosis.
I guess so. Look at this, counterattacking as that Nidus opens up. Oh my God, the Baneling's coming out and helping to clean up that army. Rogue is just trading really beautifully with his Ling Bane Muta. You know, he's playing so nicely here.
Yeah, he's never even put into a place where he has to attack head-on into anything. Yeah. He's attacking from every different direction. The Mutas are harassing, the Niduses are getting in, the Banelings are running by, and it's all just a little bit too much for Alive to handle.
Yeah, a lot of the time, that's what can be hard for Ling Bane Muta is the head-up confrontations.
Right.
That's why, you know, the 2-2 timing attack could have been a good idea. But you look at this, it's just counterattacks for days and picking off stray units. Rogue is playing a magnificent game, and Alive is having a hard time defending everything.
Yeah, he's just being picked apart little by little, and that's it. GG Rogue takes out Alive in game number 1.
All right. I mean, that looked like the Rogue of old. Not stylistically necessarily. Like, Ling Bei Nita is not always his thing. I feel like he kind of rose up in the time of Hydralisks a lot, but it was awesome play. That was top tier Zerg play. Alive, I feel like he made a few good early decisions, and then his multitasking was a little bit off. His creep spread denial was very, very strong, though, right? There were some redeeming things about Alive's play, but he's got to bring a hell of a lot more than that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I remember Alive in his heyday as the guy who would perennially eliminate Scarlet and a lot of other very strong Zerg players from the early rounds of 32 and 16. But it's been a long time since then, and so it's nice to see that Alive at least reacts correctly in a lot of situations. But Rogue clearly the superior player in game 1.
All right, Cyber Forest going to be our next map. Pretty small map overall. Maybe Alive can hit a nice timing push here. I feel like that's where his strength is. He needs to get Rogue in that mid game.
Let's get into it. Game 2 on Cyber Forest. This is Cyber Forest, and our first player is
Africa S2, Alive.
I think during his speech, Kevin said something nice about hoping that his players do well. Well, this is one of them. Hopefully, he can live up to the expectations. Yeah. This is
Jin-Air Green Wings, Rogue.
He's got some expectations too. It's like if you have one of the coveted spots on the last remaining Korean pro game team, you better earn it.
Well, I tell you, he is a champion of many, many tournaments. Not GSL yet, though.
Yeah, that's true. He's won just like hundreds of thousands of dollars in other tournaments. I think he's the 3rd highest winning player in the world.
Probably, right? It's like
SOS
Maru Innovations, Errol must be up there now.
Yeah.
I don't check SC2 earnings every day like Todd, so I'm not 100% up to date. But
you can't tell which players are the best.
Imagine.
Well, we're pretty sure that Rogue has been an incredible player at many points in his career, but yeah, it's time to get back to the top, just like our excellent fanalist has said.
Fanalist?
Yeah, a fan who's an analyst.
Okay.
Yes. That's what the sign said earlier.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I always pretend like all the signs are written in Korean.
Oh, I just don't even. I'm normally, the thing is, we have 2 screens. One is always in game.
If there's one thing I bring to the GSL, it's fan interaction, Artosis.
That's what they're always saying about you.
If it's not me in the crowd with a fan sign, it's somebody else. So gotta put some respect on that name. Well, either way, this time maybe Alive will get a chance to build his add-on. It certainly looks that way.
Yeah. Nothing cheeky coming out of Rogue this game. So Alive going to be able to do as he has practiced. I'm hoping that we can see him hit something very sharp. Alive is a player that wants some micro smallish to medium-ish amounts of units. He wants to hit timing attacks, very sharp ones. He wants to get some multi-pronged harassment going at that time. But like we were talking about, if it gets in those later games, which is actually where Rogue is very strong, that's Alive's weakness versus another Zerg's strength.
Yeah.
So that is absolutely not the territory he wants to go into.
Definitely a mismatch. Yeah, for a long time, I think late 2016, when Alive was really putting up some big numbers, he would always do this like double medevac push that came out just so fast, so powerful, and a lot of Zergs were just unprepared for it. He got a lot of mileage off of that. But I think subsequently, especially with a lot of the map changes, not quite on par, especially if you have your tempo thrown off like Rogue is kind of able to do. But this time, we're going according to schedule. We're playing an honorable macro game for now.
That's what we want, honorable macro games. So the starport coming up, making Hellions at the moment, everything looking very normal. We'll see what type of tech Rogue wants to do with this layer.
Well, he's getting it pretty much harassed, unscouted for the meantime. Yeah, I'm trying to keep an eye on this Reaper. Finally, it gets around the Zerglings.
Yeah, it'll see that third base. Shouldn't be too much of a surprise. He was pretty actively preventing the drone from getting over to the third that Rogue wanted to take.
Popping up,
Ooh,
but
good
no.
catch.
And
Good
now
catch.
the Queen's pushing it back.
I love that type of little to and fro where they both know what each other is doing and how to do it perfectly against each other, and they both still go for it. Because if their opponent doesn't do what they're supposed to do, then hey, you get the Reaper in or something, right?
Oh, and there it is.
Yeah,
All right.
I was wondering if we're
We're done with the honorable macro time. It's time to get
dirty.
Yeah, that.
Kinda
Well, I
get-
guess the Nidus does technically go through the dirt or through the metal plating if that's the tile set for the map. But
Wherever
here
it
it is
needs to
actually
go.
dirt. That's right. That Nidus really has a can-do attitude.
Yeah, no one knows the real science behind the Nidus. Maybe it's
Well, I'm sure there's lore somewhere, but I don't think that it all fits in a tweet, so you're safe from that kind of retribution.
yes, I guess so. Okay, Nidus just about ready. A lot of Lings out here right now.
And I love what he's doing. He's going to hit from the front
Oh
and the
my
back. And
God.
even the patrolling Marine
Oh,
doesn't see it.
no.
Alive. I'm so sorry your name is about to be invalidated.
Oh, this is bad news.
The Hellions are running across the map. He's going to lose one stationarily. And congratulations, you're harassing the mineral line. But look at what's happening in your base from the front to the
my
back.
God.
Everywhere being run over. There's nothing that Alive can do at home. These Hellions harassing are totally perfunctory. GG.
Yeah.
Rogue. 2-0.
That was really, really rough. I think what gets me about that one is that even if the Nidus hadn't came, the Lings just running into the front, those three Hellions on the other side of the map weren't going to do as much if there wasn't a Nidus, right? Because the Queens would be there. So it's like the fact that even the Ling run into the natural was powerful. I just feel like Alive did not play his best game so far today.
Yeah, I think obviously a little bit of a misread there, but coming up next, we've got our winners match. It's going to be Rogue versus Parting. Oh, what a game that's going to be. Don't miss it. We'll be right back with our winners match coming up next.
'Cause I've been needing you the most. Lost, looking for you up in the stars, while I have kept you in my heart. Life is worth living. Oh, and you give me all your loving, and our love is a chain reaction. It comes in spurts, so let's keep this moving. Leave all the fears that you have behind, and we'll break every curse, put it on the line. Can't stop fighting for you, 'cause all I know is I'll go anywhere that you wanna go. 'Cause life is worth living. Oh, and you give me all your loving, and our love is a chain reaction. It comes in spurts, so let's keep this moving.
많이 아쉬웠죠. 왜냐하면은 절대 지면 안 되는 상대였다고 생각했어요. 저는 그날 진짜 멘탈이 너무 안 좋아져가지고 집 가자마자 그냥 잠만 자고 다시 생각나면 다시 맥주 마시고 자고 반복해가지고 겨우 잊었거든요. 그 정도로 좀 많이 힘들었었어요. 그 복귀한 사람들 중에서 이렇게 좀 성적이 나는 거는 제가 접기 전에 성적을 많이 내놨으니까 그게 그냥 클래스는 영원하다라는 게 어느 정도 반영이 되는 것 같아요.
다른 선수들이 워낙 열심히 하시는 것도 있고 뭐 저희 선수들도 열심히 하는데 아프리카 팀 선수들이 많이 일찍 지는 거는 연습 부족이라고 생각해서 뭐 그거에 대해 문제점을 더 보완해야 되지 않을까 생각하고 있습니다. 뭐 제가 받아주는 것도 아니고 한번 제가 대표님한테 문의는 드려볼 텐데 모르겠네요. 성민이가 열심히 근데 이번에 전역한 후에 바로 뜯어가지고 개인적으로 좀 기대되고 있긴 해요.
그때 너무 잘했었어가지고 제가 제일 잘한다고 생각을 항상 해서 좀 자만을 많이 했던 것 같아서 최근에는 그래도 좀 많이 다른 저보다 거 많이 배운다는 마음가짐으로 하니까 좀 더 잘 되는 것 같아요. 또 GSL 때 성적을 결승까지 못 내면은 블리즈컨도 아예 못 가는 거라서 뭔가 더 목표가 뭔가 남다르고 이번에 더 잘할 수 있다고 생각을 하고 있어요. 옆에서 또 성호하는 것도 많이 보고 배워서 성호처럼 또 한다면 저도 결승 갈 수 있을 거라 생각하고 있어요.
I feel good that I qualified, and last season I was one map away to renovate, so I hope I can do at least the same, get to renovate at least. I hope. Terran is not good, so just everything bad, and Protestants are too good. Marine? Okay, Marine is good. Chile? Reiki.
What do you think about Proton?
Kesagi. Use everything, all good. Koshin, Immortal, Shilot, Akon, Popong, all Sagi.
좀 옛날 얘기긴 한데 제가 11년 말쯤에 연습생 시절이었는데 그때 이제 스타테이라는 팀을 들어가게 됐는데 그때 이제 박성준 줄라이 형이 저를 많이 이뻐해 주셨어요. 조언도 많이 해주시고 그냥 게임하는 법도 알려주시고 제가 이제 게이머의 방향성 그런 걸 다 멘토처럼 다 알려주셨거든요. 그때부터 근데 제가 진짜 말도 안 되게 성적을 잘 냈어요. 뭐 인기도 많이 없고 그래서 항상 저는 이제 홍준이 형 생각하면서
My turning point was when I came to Korea because I couldn't really play from my home. There's no really good practice anywhere, so that's my turning point.
슈퍼 토너먼트 우승이 됐던 것 같아요. 그때가 제일 반전이었고 그때 연습 때는 항상 실력적으로 너무 자신 있어가지고 대회 때 잘만 풀리면은 잘 할 거라고 생각을 했는데 그때 좀 마침 잘 풀려줘가지고 운도 되게 좋았던 것 같아요.
예전에 IPL이라는 해외 대회 가서 우승한 거 그거는 저가 제 생각지도 진짜 1도 못한 그런 반전이었기 때문에 그거만큼 큰 반전은 없었던 것 같아요.
선수로 말하면 윤종이 형이랑 바뀌었으면은 좋겠다는 생각을 해요. 그래도 뭐 지금의 저도 좋긴 하지만 근데 이제 윤종이 형은 그 형은 뭐 어떻게 생각할지 모르겠죠. 저 스스로 라이벌을 생각했고 서로 도움이 많이 됐고 시너지도 많이 났기 때문에 저는 공격적인 스타일이고 윤종이 형은 방어적인 스타일이었기 때문에 윤종이 형은 그리고 국내 우승이 있잖아요. 저는 그게 굉장히 좋게 치기 때문에 제 게이머 인생에서 무조건 국내 우승이 있냐 없냐 그래서 윤종이 형 바꿀 수 있으면 그나마 뭐 윤종이 형이랑 바꾸겠네요 아마.
딱히 생각이 안 나는데.
솔직히 게이머들 성적 말고는 딱히 받고 싶은 선수들이 없어가지고 다 비정상이라서 게이머들이 워낙 어렵긴 한데 바꾸고 싶으면은 저는 항상 대여비를 뽑았던 것 같아요. 그냥 대여비가 워낙 순수하고 열심히도 하고 워낙 성실한 애라 뭔가 대여비처럼 그냥 아무 생각 없이 게임만 열심히 할 수 있는 그런 상태도 한번 바꿔보고 싶긴 해요.
I want to play with DY. How cute he looks. He looks cute.
Cute?
Yeah.
Just that?
Yeah.
No career,
No.
실력.
Just cute.
Just cute?
Yeah.
How about Baron?
No, he's not cute.
Really?
No.
You are most cute?
Yes, one top.
2019 Mountain Dew GSL Season 3 Code S Reversal.
My God, these guys are so funny.
They couldn't clip that fast enough, Artosis.
Jeez.
So many of our viewers, just the upvotes in their eyes. That's gonna go on like Why Gosu DC Inside, all the Korean forums. It's gonna be good. I feel like anywhere Parting goes, good interviews follow him. But this time it was special, really delivering.
Well, he really wrecked it. But I did learn something about Parting that I didn't know, that July was his mentor.
Dude, you gotta pick somebody to be mentored by. July is way up on the list.
Well, that's so interesting because they play different races. They kind of play different games. They both were StarCraft 1 players. July was big in that. They both were StarCraft 2 players. Parting was big in that. July did make a finals, but whatever. But they play different races, but a similar style, actually. Both very aggressive players. That's fascinating, though. I'm really excited to have learned that from that interview.
Man, there's so many stories like that that don't come out for like years and years and years and years and years. Obviously, that was 2011 he was talking about, 8 years ago. Very different time, but let's get into our winners match, Parting versus Rogue. Our first map is Thunderbird. Let's do it.
Fight.
It's a prime number, Artosis.
About 40. Are you sure?
Pixel 1, Parting.
I don't know. You're the type of guy that might know that.
Well, yes, it's a Mercine Prime in the 8th Fibonacci number, Artosis.
It's not.
No,
actually. It's not the 8th.
You saw through my clever disguise.
Air Green Wings, Rogue.
One day I'll be as good at math as Rogue is at video games. He looked pretty good in that first series.
Yeah, he looked really great, and actually Parting did too. Now, going into this, like I would favor Rogue, even though Parting has had better results lately. Just, I don't know. It just pops in my mind. I'm like, well, oh my God, 5-0.
That's a pretty good result.
But that's old.
Well, I mean, so is Parting, right?
Yeah, no, it is. But like, Rogue came into his own in Legacy of the Void.
Yeah, but I mean, the big point is that they haven't played each other offline in Legacy of the Void.
Yeah.
And even though you can find Legal Act stats to say anything, for the most part, when it comes to GSL practicing offline tournaments, we really don't know what it's going to look like.
Yeah. Well, you know, Parting showing those great macro plays against Special makes me question what we're going to see from him, right? Now, overall, this is kind of a macro map, and Kings Cove is map 3 for us, so that's kind of a macro map 2. Now, is he going to bust out, like, are we going to see Stargate Parting into normal macro play, or, like, are we just... Because normally it's cannon rushes and immortal pushes.
Oh, yeah, no,
right?
for sure. No, but Parting definitely capable of giving us games like those. Ever since I saw Honorable Macro Protoss Classic do the dirtiest cannon rush to Sue last season, I have horrific nightmares of that. So let's see what the scouting information is going to send. Oh, he's going to try to block it, but he doesn't get it in time.
What was... That was...
Yeah, so he's going to build the hatchery to block for the Zergling swell coming behind this, because it's nothing but lanes in production.
Well, interesting when he chose to bring the drone in for that block. But anyways, there are a lot of Zerglings being made. We'll see what he can get done with that. Of course, Parting could not see that a hatchery was trying to be made, but it's very suspicious to have a drone come in at that time, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. And, I mean, as the Adept getting out there on the map, obviously you're not too threatened by speedless Zerglings, so this is pretty much the exact situation that Rogue did not want to have, and now he's still trying to catch this Adept. Shade about to finish, so it is not in too much trouble, but he misses half the Zerglings. They craftily run around, and now he's going to be able to take out the only pylon powering everything.
Oh my god, he doesn't quite get the pylon. We need a full wall there from Parting. Looks like he is going to go that way. Baneling Nest is going to be finishing up quickly here. A lot of Zerglings on the way right now, though.
There's not too much health on those blocking buildings, but there might just barely be enough. Thank goodness those buildings build themselves. That's going to be it for the first one, but obviously there's more behind it, and I mean, Rogue is going to keep going. There's Banelings behind this. This is it for Rogue, and I think he identified a key weakness here for Parting, but I think Parting just might barely hold on.
He might, but the Baneling's coming. I don't think he's actually expecting that.
What else does he have? I mean, he has a Sentry, so obviously that's pretty good.
The Sentry is the really clutch key unit here.
They're starting to break through. He's waiting. Oh!
Good explosions right there, actually, to make sure he killed that off all the way. And that actually takes a lot of the healing potential away as well. And Immortal comes down. That's not going to be all that helpful.
Yeah, not really. Parting takes it after Rogue says, well, maybe next game.
Yeah,
that did not work out.
Enough buildings coming up that it looks like Rogue going to give up there. Rogue, once again, pulling out the cheese. He's mixing it up a little bit this season. But Parting, with his virtuous macro Protoss, with his virtuous macro Immortal coming out.
We're co-opting his storyline like a WWE player. We just don't even care what his history was. He's ours now, and we can make him whatever we want. He's got a new story arc that's beginning to unfold before our eyes, Artosis.
I tell you, this is an upside-down world that I'm in right now. Rogue is cheesing and Parting's defending it, and I don't know what's what. Interesting build there from Parting. Rogue, rather, sorry. I think that if that hatchery had gotten down, that might have done it for him, right?
You know, it's rare that we see little tiny things like a silhouette of a hatchery mean the difference between that build like really working out or not working out. And obviously, we don't know what would have happened if you had gotten that down, but safe to say Parting was pretty happy he could build buildings in that space.
Yeah. Kind of important. So we're going to... Oh, I thought Kings Cove was map 3 for some reason. It's map 2. New Repugnancy going to be for set 3. Let's see. It's another macro map.
The game is ready. Let's find out. Kings Cove. It's game 2. The upper left of Kings Cove as Protoss, he is.
Pixel 1, Party.
Everybody waves their Pixel 1 phones in the audience to cheer him on. I didn't catch.
Are they going to have to change their team name again?
They're just killing it, man, one after another.
Jin Air Green Wings, Rogue.
They named their team after a company that already existed, so killing it. What's up?
So, yeah, no, I don't know what's up, but we're seeing all these different styles pop up and everything. I mean, last season was the season of upsets. There was so much cheese, so much aggression going on. Here we have Rogue who is generally just the most late game guy that there is. But to be fair, when he first started getting known, he had a lot of like kind of pocket strategies, a lot of cheesy, aggressive things. So it's not like it's outside of his area, right?
Yeah, maybe a couple, 2-3 years ago, we used to have a lot of big macro maps in the map pool, like things like Dusk Towers, you know. And he was one of the first guys that would do this kind of weird, like double, triple Nidus with swarm hosts, like really, you know, innovate a lot of things that a lot of players really wouldn't consider, you know, doing before that. And for Rogue, I would never characterize him as the cheesy player, but I do think that's kind of a one-off. So hopefully we get back to normal. And the round of 32 is just a strange time to be alive, Artosis.
Yeah, some crazy things have been occurring this year. So 3 hatcheries going up. Nothing too surprising or odd going on at the moment. This is a map where it's pretty hard to kill your opponent, you know, early on. It's pretty easy to max out. Getting your 3 bases is pretty simple. Parting, going with that Stalker to push back the Overlord.
Yeah, scouting as a Zerg player. I guess it feels bad to be the Overlord, but obviously you can't position it over high ground. It's exactly the same setup, but on the other side, obviously we don't have the same level of aggression coming from Rogue.
Look at that, Twilight coming up. So is this something really, really cheesy like Glaives? Or, yeah, okay, it's not likely. It looks like it's probably going to be a DT-based Archon drop coming out of Parting, which it's a solid build. Pretty popular right now, too.
Yeah, I don't think really this is anything designed to, you know, get crazy damage done. But I mean, the upside is obviously very high. It's one of those skill checks, you know. Like, can you push this away? Yes, you get to play the rest of the game.
Yeah, the DTs are so often that it's like, hey, did you skimp too much? Oh, you didn't? Okay, I'll make Archons. And when they do, you're like, oh, look at that, a free win. Isn't that interesting?
So nice. Maybe a little bit of a precautionary wall there from Parting, because I don't think he's really got crazy amounts of intel on the other side. Just have that adept kind of...
Yeah, generally you just kind of want to throw it down. You know, better safe than sorry. If Lings run up and they get in and they see your build, then, you know, it's a lot harder to pull anything off. Rogue exiting the area just in case something like a Prism flies over to help the Stalker kill him off.
Yeah, and it's the exact build that you were talking about. Got a nice little smiley face right there with the gases on top and the Nexus in the middle.
Yeah.
Really like it when maps help us out with that, what do you call it when something looks like something it's not?
Oh.
There's an entire subreddit for it. Somebody tweeted at me, I'll say it later on. But here comes that drop. The DTs will not warp in quite as quickly, so I think when a lot of people were seeing the patch coming out that makes that warp in a lot longer, this is obviously one of those strategies that will be kind of impacted by that.
Of course, it's not live as of yet.
Yeah.
But, you know, we'll see it, when it comes around. I don't think they actually put a date down, did they?
No, it's just a community update.
Yeah, it's kind of like this is what they're thinking.
Yeah, it's thinking about it in the future. And jumping on top of that first Spore, this is that skill check we were talking about. It's, can you catch your opponent slipping? And he did a little bit. Spore's running away.
Oh my God, look at that. This is actually a really good micro by Parting so far. I feel like he's chasing that just slightly too long. But if you can get the hatchery,
yeah,
it's gigantic. The thing is, I don't know that he's going to, right? Oh my God, oh my God.
It's coming back, it's transfused. He's trying to get on top of it. They don't have Blink. Oh, the perfect surround. The transfuses are massive.
Oh, that's crazy. Now, can he actually kill the hatchery off?
Just in time. And War Prism's doing what War Prisms do. Getting in, getting out. What a pick-off for Parting.
That was almost like the clutchest hold ever until it wasn't.
Right up until the end there.
Yeah.
The transfuses, man. Imagine old transfuse on that. Boop, boop.
Oh,
back
no
up to full HP.
Everything's healed all the way, and then the Prism dies.
We can heal it instantly.
Yeah.
The Zerg Death Coil, but it doesn't work quite the same way anymore. In the end, man, that is a heartbreaking pickoff, but also it means he's more susceptible if more DT shenanigans happen later on.
Yeah, you know, this just puts Rogue behind. So now we got to check, like, what is Rogue's plan to come back here? You know, he does not want to lose 0-2 to Parting here. This looked like a group that he should be able to win.
Yeah.
But Parting's playing a very clean game right now. He's just clearing creep after getting that nice advantage, and he has Forge, you know, getting his upgrades. He's producing probes, so he's obviously going to take a third base. And it's not like there's an attack that Rogue can do that Parting's afraid of. So he's just going to get upgrades and work on his economy.
Wow, what parting is this? I feel like we talked about the storylines parting a player that's overperforming, Rogue underperforming, so they're kind of meeting here in the winners match. And I really do think that the more and more we see little moves like this just continually being active on the map, threatening, having big moves to test these skills, everything's working out for parting, and it's just really fleshing out a lot of his play, whereas he used to be this kind of monolithic, aggressive, wacky player.
Oh, do you see that Spire?
I do.
I love it. I love it. I love Spire in this matchup right now, and that a lot of Zergs are starting to mix this in, starting to try this out a little bit.
Is that just because we don't have as many Stargate openers?
Yeah, it's definitely part of it, right? If you have Stargate around and you're consistently running around and you see the Spire, the mutas will not do anything at all, right? You make a few fixes ahead of time. But we've seen like some really interesting builds, like for instance from Dark. In this last season, he had some really cool builds where he was like on Roach Ravager for a little bit, and then eventually went into some mutas and tried to utilize that. And he did it twice and had some really cool things that we went over on in depth. But I don't know exactly what Rogue's plan is with this, and I've seen him go mutas on this map against this strat before and go like mass spines, but it doesn't seem to be that strategy right now.
Well, obviously, dumping a lot of your gas into Ravagers is going to delay that a little bit. The Spire just now coming up, or in the next few seconds. So the name of the game is holding on right now. Those Immortals are so scary. The Archon's obviously strong in the front. And look at how many sentries he has. Oh, my God.
Yeah, when you see that many Ravagers, though, going up that ramp is, like, impossible, I think. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that.
Dude, I said it earlier on. It just makes him so much more vulnerable once you find that vulnerability, continuing to exploit it. Now, continuing to push up. Look at all of these force fields. They just never stop. As many biles as come down, there's more force fields right there to replace it. But you still can't push up the ramp.
Yeah, he actually lost a decent amount of sentries there as well. You got to be very careful about this when he has that many Ravagers. Like, parting feels like he can trade right now, and I think he's mostly right. We'll see if he can actually break through.
Yeah, very well-placed force fields. They're down. Where's round number 2? He did lose a lot of those sentries, so round number 2's used to try to escape, and using that War Prism as well, but back at it again. Cape Boy, our masked man, our Caped Crusader. No drone is safe, Artosis.
Doing some work for sure, and he actually gets to scout that Nidus, which is pretty important, isn't it?
I mean, that would be a good thing to see. Right now, Alive is out there mumbling under his breath. Protoss scouts the Nidus. Nidus see the Nidus. So yeah, he sees the Overlord too, and I think Parting really able to think a couple steps ahead at this point. So Rogue's not even going to use it aggressively. I mean,
oh my God, look at that! The Archon actually blocking everything, so he gets up into the third base.
He's actually a little bit out of position.
Yeah, he definitely is, but I don't think you can get a kill here, right?
I mean, there are defensive shield batteries. There's a Warp Prism, so that makes it more difficult.
And the DTs are shredding.
Yeah, there's not really a whole lot to deal with them here either. So sure, this is a hold here for Parting. He does lose a few pros, but I think keeping the base alive is mission accomplished.
The amount of damage those DTs put out was pretty crazy. Comes back with that Overseer, still making roaches. Now, let's not forget, he has a Spire. There is potential at some point still to go into mutas, but he doesn't have the money for it right now.
Oh, and those are force fields where there are no more corrosive biles to knock them down. Surrounding these roaches means big supply swings for Parting. And Rogue, he's going to try to re-knight us here for reinforcements, but oh, look at the Warp Prism. How good is the control here for Parting? Can he hang on? The answer is an emphatic yes.
Yeah, looks pretty good so far here. Great targeting by Rogue overall. He's really trying to keep those Immortals as low as is possible. Throws up a Nidus there. Maybe a little bit of overdoing it. Not quite able to break through.
It's just something else for Parting to deal with, but he can. He does it. He is controlling everything so perfectly on the high ground. I don't know if this is it for Rogue.
Yeah, Rogue is pretty low on drones right now, and you know he's really been focusing so heavily on making these roaches and trading them out. He's actually done like a surprisingly decent job of it, I feel like, considering the micro of Parting and the fact, just look at his army. I mean, roaches aren't supposed to break up a ramp against Immortals, and I guess while they didn't, he did better than anticipated.
Right. You know, we saw that Spire earlier, but that really hasn't come into play almost at all.
Well, I think because Parting got so aggressive,
yeah,
it forced him in those Ravagers like you mentioned before, right? It's like, You can't make the mutas when you're about to die. You need to make them in a situation like this, but then his drone count was kind of low, right? The DT harass did a good job. He's been forcing and making all these roaches so much.
Well, and even now, there's no anti-air to deal with this prism, which makes the Immortals quite literally immortal, and so there's no way you can break up there even with infinity roaches. I need Solar here to say hello, hello, as those 3 Immortals kill everything.
Yeah. Well, Swarm Hosts are actually going to be what he switches into, and I love that he has this type of flexibility. Because I could have seen him being like, you know, I have the Spire, let me use it. I've traded out reasonably well. His army is not that good against air, but I think the Swarm Host is a pretty decent call. He's got the Nidus tech already. He's kind of keeping him back.
Well, this is that trademark play that I was talking about from Rogue that he really pioneered. Obviously, it's a little bit different as times and patches and maps change, but the idea is still the same. The Swarm Hosts go in, the Swarm Hosts come out. Can't explain that.
Well, they're not coming out of that one.
I mean, hopefully not for their sake. There is another one, and there'll probably be 2 or 3 of these spread around the map, so it gives Swarm Hosts those that mobility that they really lack otherwise. But Parting's doing an excellent job proactively finding them.
That's crazy, yeah. Look at that. He knocks down all the Niduses right when you really need your Swarm Hosts out there doing something.
Parting. So, I mean, he's just everywhere he needs to be, like State Farm.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I would want from a Protoss player.
I need Protoss players selling me insurance.
If you ever need to insure your warprint or your future in a competitive esport, Protoss will get you there every
shield
time.
batteries.
There you go.
Okay, Locust coming out right now.
I mean, this is exactly where you want them to defend back at home, but they're not able to be aggressive. The retreat is exactly what Parting can do now that he knows about them. He can pull back. He's got more than enough time to push Rogue away.
Yeah, he's actually picked off quite a few of these Archons. Not that much left over, but the ground-pounding army here of Parting is still so strong. Rogue going to give up this base, but I don't think he's going to GG quite yet. He still has a bit of a chance. Parting is not on 4 bases.
Well, here we
he's
go.
Really putting everything into this push.
Yep, this is a big way to defend. Trying to go in for the flank, deals with the force fields pretty well. Where's that next round of Locust? They should be coming in from behind, but they're really nowhere to be seen.
Not sure exactly what he's doing with those right now, but it seems like he's starting to break down this army. Another warp in from Parting going down.
Oh, he cancels it and loses the prism.
What a big deal there. Now he can get those Immortals so
There's
important.
Those Locusts. He wins the fight at home and gets across the map for harassment. Rogue with a huge turnaround. That's
Beautiful.
it.
Beautifully
GG.
done by Rogue. Wow.
Damn.
What a game that was. Let's not forget he lost his 3rd to DTs.
Oh yeah, to start things out, and he kept taking damage from random DTs throughout that map.
Yeah.
He lost a lot of his army when he tried to attack from DTs, and man, I really felt, I feel my mind is exactly what Parting's expression was right there. It's just so rare that you get a game where you feel like both players really just get to show what they're best at.
Yeah, well, Parting played very well, except for when he kept attacking up that 3rd ramp.
That's right.
That was definitely where he kind of threw it. He was at an advantage right there. And the thing is, the attack did certain things, like it forced the Roaches out, it forced a lot of Ravagers. He felt like he could trade, and he could for a bit. Like, the first attack up was good, but he kept it up. It was like he was just trying to get Rogue to get out of the game.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a tilter right there. You can see how visually emotional Parting was in between those games. And our last map is New Repugnancy. Rogue has shown kind of that he can get a little bit down and dirty with it, but Parting, I know there's that dark Protoss soul inside you somewhere, and maybe it's time to return to the old Parting and pull something out to win game number 3.
Cannon Rush time.
Yeah, let's see it. We're getting into game 3 on New Repugnancy. Which Parting we're gonna see? This is
Pixel 1, Parting.
and his opponent is
Genair Green Wings, Rogue.
You know, Artosis, I think this is one of those times where I think Parting touched on it in his interview, where he said that his big, coming back to play StarCraft again was one of the illustrations that class is permanent. When he was talking about getting his top 8 finish, and I feel like one of the biggest hallmarks of that class is the ability to deal with crushing defeats like that one, where you put yourself in a great spot. Everything that you've done to get to that moment has been great.
Yeah.
And then you have it, and you let it slip.
Throws really hurt. They really, really do. You know, I guess you already said it as well as it can be said. It hurts to get yourself into that spot. You did all these wonderful things.
Yeah.
The DT sniped the hatchers, a lot of great micro there, a lot of clutch decision making, and then you kind of are like overestimating yourself a bit.
I think that's one of the most painful parts about StarCraft is when you put in that much work at the end of the game. If you lose, you know, maybe you learned a lesson from it in the long run, but for that game you lost. So
yeah,
for Parting, he's gonna have to clear his mind and come back with a fresh viewpoint here. He's getting harassed already. Rogue trying to dictate the pace. And that wasn't one of those blocking hatcheries to go for a rush afterwards, but we still might see something along those lines.
Certainly possible. Notice he throws down a Stargate as part of his wall. So this is a big nod of respect towards the trend of cheese that we've seen that I think Dark helped to kick off a little bit. He was definitely pretty aggressive in situations like this. Lots of offensive hatcheries, lots of rush follow-ups. But when you get the Stargate before your Nexus, you're feeling pretty fine. It's pretty hard to really break that.
Yeah, the whole goal is what don't I need in order to get a Nexus? And as much as you can get away with avoiding, that's kind of the way you want to start out. But Parting, you're right, he's giving a lot of respect to Rogue. And once again, kind of defaulting, saying, look, as long as I can get what I need to play kind of that standard game, that's what he wants to go towards.
And look at this. This Adept is actually doing massive damage. To kill 2 drones right now in the game, that's amazing.
Yeah, and it hasn't taken really any damage. He's going to be able to shade away and stay alive and keep that scouting out there on the map. He gets in and sees, more importantly, the number of Lings that are coming out to deal with that Adept, and it's totally appropriate. So he knows really nothing is coming his way, as long as he didn't miss something massive, you know.
Well, I think he knows everything that's going on at the moment, right? He saw the 3rd hatchery, he saw the amount of Lings and the amount of Queens, so he basically knows where all the minerals have gone at this point. Should be feeling reasonably confident. Does have that first Oracle coming out. I guess he's going to fly it across the map and kill 2 drones, then turn around with a yellow Oracle. That'll be fun. But a Phoenix coming out as well to clear out some of these Overlords.
Yeah, and Rogue right on the other side. This is another one of those little skill checks. Are you allowed to play the game? Totally in position. And especially after losing so much to those DTs earlier on, you can see right on time those scores are going to finish up.
All right, so you get the 2 drones and absquatulates.
That's right.
With that yellow Oracle.
That's your $10 word for the day.
Yeah.
Also, if you're taking your PSATs pretty soon, it's going to help you out.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is all pretty standard par for the course right now. What is he going to do with this Twilight, I wonder, though? I feel like he's going to go Glaives.
Yeah, I mean, we could absolutely see that. The big tell for me about Glaives is the gateway count. I think we're seeing 3 gateways. Yep, there it is.
3 gate Glaives is really, really nice. You can kind of get into 3rd base and some robos and stuff.
Actually, I think it was 3 more, so it's to be a total of 4 if I'm not totally mistaken.
Oh, you're right. He is going into 4 gate. You're right.
Okay. We're 4 gating. This time there's a Nexus.
Yes.
Some things never change. There's just an appropriate number of things to have.
Dirtier or less dirty 4 gate? I would say less.
What is the defining characteristic?
Of dirt or of 4 gate?
Yes, of the dirtiness of the 4 gate.
Well, I mean, Adepts killing drones versus just all inning on one base.
Oh, so it's the end result. It's not the set, what is set in motion before there.
It's more like, how do you feel about your opponent after that you realize what they're doing to you?
Okay.
Which one are you more disgusted by?
That's some results-based emotions there, Artosis.
Yeah. It's the only way to do it. Okay, he sees. That is a lot of Adepts.
Yes, that's like the kind of shade the Spartans would fight under. There's quite a little bit of it. But, I mean, there's enough to block, I think. Yeah, another sentry right on time. There's only one direction those Adepts are going, and that is way across the map. Glaives finishing up. Let's find out how dirty this push is.
Okay, well, that's a lot of Queens. He does have a few Roaches out right now. Not too many Lings at home. Obviously, they're going to be cleaned up very quickly. I'm not feeling too hot right now about Rogue's position.
Yes, that's a lot of drones and a lot of Adepts, and in general, those are not great combinations here. So, I mean, he does have the Zerglings that will surround them. What's the shade timing looking like on those? Actually, it's going to take a while, so quite a few of these Adepts are going to get taken down. He's only really lost 10 workers, so I mean, definitely not critical damage at this point.
Yeah, it's really interesting, actually. That shade of the natural was a bit of a mistake from Parting. There wasn't that much of the main chasing him, and there were still quite a few drones that he was getting, but he let it finish, and it did not work out well. Ended up kind of ending the attack, so a little bit of good luck on Rogue's side there, I think, with Party making a bit of a mistake.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious as to why you would do that, because obviously when you go into the main, you know you've just got, that's your play time, right?
Yeah.
So what is the follow-up? And it looks like the answer is more.
Oh, yes. If you go for the glaives, I mean, you actually can expand behind that, I think, but just has followed it up with these Sentries and Immortals, wants to continue the push forward.
Yeah, round 2 with a Warp Prism there, but I think this time around Rogue will have the infrastructure he needs.
I think so. I think he holds this without too much of a hassle.
So what does he need to hold this? Is it just Ravagers, static defense?
Yeah, like he's got the static defense buildings. Those, I mean, I could take them or leave them, to be honest. But if you have a nice concave, you have your creep out so that you can kind of concave around where they're coming in, and you have a decent amount of biles, it gets a little bit hard to break through.
Parting, setting up. He knows this is, I mean, kind of it. I don't know if there's a whole lot behind staying on 2 bases with that 8 gateways.
He's all in. He's all in. Yeah, okay, so he's going to push, and the thing is, he will threaten shades towards drones. Yeah. So that's going to be where the hard decisions are made. Here we go, though. Ooh, a lot of force fields going down, getting biled immediately. There's that first shade. Now, is he going to let that one finish?
Well, I guess this is where we find out. Has Parting learned his lesson, or is he still going in with shades? The answer is not anymore. He is staying back, but I mean, the longer he stays here, the longer those Ravagers get a chance to finish morphing, the more biles there's going to be to break down these not quite limitless force fields.
Yeah, what a interesting position that we're in right now. Like, Parting really needs some sort of huge damage to happen. Rogue is not that high on drones, but his position transitions much better than what Parting's does.
Exactly. Well, here we go. There's the force field wall to try to keep his Rogue off of his army, but immediately biled away, even pre-biling a little bit there. More force fields coming down, and I mean, for now, those force fields might look limitless, but the energy's starting to get low on those sentries, Artosis.
Well, if we didn't have that Set 3 2019 GSL Season 3 Round of 32 Group A Winners Match thing, then I could tell you exactly how many force fields are here.
Well, instead it's a mystery. You just want to read the end of the story first, Artosis. No.
Yeah, this time I do.
We have to wait. It's just like, first of all, we don't show how many of those units are damaged. We don't show the energy. It's just all a mystery. This is like Brood War commentary. You just don't know what's out there.
Look at those 3 Adepts. Can you even believe that? 8 kills already. Just shades a few through. Beautiful move there by Parting. That is exactly the type of move he needed.
The same thing he did kind of in game 1 with those Zealot warp-ins over and over again. It's not the big attempt. It's the small ones afterwards that get the damage done. Really kind of ironic he's doing it again.
Oh my God, there's so many drones going down. 16 drones falling to 3 Adepts.
35 workers for Rogue.
It's not even done.
Oh my God.
It's not done.
How is this what does damage?
Look at this. Rogue is going for a counterattack, realizing this terrible position.
No, he's pulling back.
Well, Parting walked home.
I can't believe this.
So he had his units at the top of the ramp waiting for him.
Man, these last couple of games have just been emotional roller coasters. 21,
what are we
22,
doing?
23.
Never
okay.
23.
No, that would have been a prime number. But
22 drone kills, shame on you. 23 drone kills, shame on me.
That's what they say, Artosis.
Okay, that was ludicrous. And now he's got DTs on top of it.
Imagine thinking you needed a whole army to get that much damage done. No.
Yeah, really. It's like, what was I doing with big armies?
Well, you know, now it's an interesting thought to have to say, well, you know, I actually did the damage I kind of needed, maybe not the way I wanted to. So instead of just going all in, like you said, he's going to pull back, expand behind it, go a different path here.
Yeah, he can go for a longer game.
DTs do damage too.
Oh my God,
no.
he's put 1 DT everywhere.
Oh, Artosis, hide your eyes.
I'm just staring at Rogue's face right now because
this is why you guys should come down to the studio, because there's huge cameras pointed right at the players' faces, and we're about to see a grimace of disgust on Rogue after losing that many. 13 more.
13 more drones. That's wild. He's getting a Bailey nest. Like, I think he's trying to give himself one shot here.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine how he's. Look at that army. Just look at that army. Look how many sentries there are.
Fool me 22 times, shame on me. Fool me 13 more times, shame on you.
Yeah. There you go. That's 14 sentries, though, seriously. That is just...
He did lose, actually, a few of them early, so that's a super high number, especially since so many of them were remade. Well, here's that base party was trying to get up, and so Rogue does commit to trying to kill that, but that means that he might not have enough to defend back at home. But, man, Parting and Ramps, name a less iconic duo. He kind of overextended and lost the previous game.
Yeah.
So a little bit of deja vu here for him.
I'm kind of surprised that he's over there pushing right now. Rogue's counterattack, I actually feel like this is doing all right. He picks off an Immortal. If Rogue can just sit here and defend, which I don't know if that's possible, but if he can, that's, you know, maybe Parting throws again.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Artosis. This is a very similar situation, but it feels like he's warped in just enough to defend back at home, but at the same time hasn't been able to get any damage done to Rogue on the other side of the map. And wow, that Nexus lived.
You know, Rogue is maxing out right now. They're both on very similar worker counts. 14 sentries, 5 mortals, and the all-important Warp Prism. Is that enough to kill 46 roaches?
This
I say yes.
This game is just a transformation. We're seeing Parting go from Gateway Man to Greatway Man. He is all the way across the map, and he has so many force fields, Rogue can't even bile them all.
No, well, here's that counterattack once again. He's just trying to warp in Zealous to deal with this.
I think that might be just enough to maybe save the Nexus behind this, but still, there's no progress here from Parting.
Right? He's stuck not being able to go up that ramp.
And that means
feels like Parting is so good at getting himself into good spots, and then he just tries to kill. And it's like, okay, against most players in the world, you can just kill. Against the absolute best, don't ever try to just kill him.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Get further ahead. I've been saying it for 11 years.
One day they'll listen.
No, they won't.
What's that image macro? It's like they hated him for they knew not what he said or something. It's just anyway.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
They didn't believe his words.
Is that Star Trek or?
No, it's
oh, it's the Jesus one.
Yeah,
I know what
exactly.
you're saying.
It's a beautiful meme, but I'm not doing it justice here. Anyway,
you normally do memes so much justice.
Yeah, that's right. I'm really letting you guys down. Much in the way that Parting might have let down our expectations from the first half of this game, which just looked fantastic. He's recalling back home, and finally, the shoe is, as they say, Artosis, on the other foot.
Brings that Prism home, so he knows that juggling is going to occur.
Well, here we go. This is the moment you need that juggling. How good of a circus-performing Protoss player is Parting here? He's putting on his clown nose. He's got his floppy shoes on. He's ready, and so are those force fields, but the biles are even more most readier, Artosis. They just smack them down as soon as they come up.
Truly endless force fields. And now we get down to the point where you can actually micro with this Prism. There's not that much left over here for Parting.
Oh, man, Artosis, we're going to see the micro of his life if he wants to hang on here. The biles, the roaches, the swarm, the power, overwhelming. Rogue, it's just about to push through here.
Yeah, looks like he should be able to break through. 4 red Immortals left over. Oh my god.
I mean, how good are Immortals? It's the only thing standing on 4 legs between Parting and a trip to the losers match for Rogue. He's got his hand around Parting's throat.
I just don't know. Can he actually micro his way out of this one? This is so many Ravagers. 4 red Immortals. And here we go. Oh, he's trying to juggle up the hill.
Down.
My god.
They do get controlled. They're picked up onto the high ground, but they can't stay alive long enough. Rogue completes the comeback.
That was a wild series. I'm like caught off guard. That was, wow.
We were turning around to see the look on Rogue's face when he sees what a bad position he was in.
Well, when you lose 35 workers to 5 units.
Incredible. And it's the same story in games 2 and 3, where Parting gets into such a good spot, tries to drop the hammer, but it's too heavy to pick up. And I think the look on Parting's face really tells it all.
Yeah, definitely frustrated with himself. Now, he can definitely still make it out of the group. Obviously, he's going to have to play a Terran for that, and he's already shown some great PvT tonight, but that series definitely felt like it could have been a Parting victory, 2-0 or 2-1.
Well, we're going to have a few more games to find out which one it's going to be. But for now, let's throw it over to Andy for an interpretation of our player interview.
Hello everyone, we're going to have an interview with Rog, the first winner of tonight's match. Congratulations. Thank you.
자, 승자전 1세트 다소 불안하게 패배했지만
The first set, you lost and it was unfortunate, but you do make a comeback and end up winning 2-1. How do you feel?
개막전이 시간 준비할 시간도
In
많이
the opening day, I didn't have much time to prepare,
많이 도와주면서
but I helped Trap with his scrims, and then I was able to gain some experience from that. So I think that really helped me today and raised my
너무
confidence.
빨리 헤어지게 돼서 사실 적응이 안 됐었습니다. 시즌 2 이후에 많이 좀 아쉬움이
After
있으셨어요?
season 2, you've had some unfortunate series.
그때 뭐라고 변명할 게 없었던 게
In season 2,
토스가 사기였던 시절인데
I didn't have much excuse because Protoss was OP back then.
저한테 떨어진 거라서 그냥 제가 연습을 너무 소홀히 했구나.
I just like to practice,
마음을 다시 잡고 열심히.
and I try to get my mindset back.
요즘은 들어보니까 굉장히 폼을 끌어올리셨다고
Recently, your form has been quite good,
요즘 어떤 각오로
and you raised your form to a very high
계신가요?
level. And how did you practice these days?
이번에 성적을 내지 못하면 블리즈컨을 갈 수 없기 때문에
If I can't make good performance this time around, I can go to the BlizzCon, and I have nothing to do when BlizzCon is happening. So I want to go to BlizzCon as much as possible.
네, 확실히 그 2017년의 기적을 재현해 주시길
I guess
정말
you
많은
will be able
팬분들이
to
기대하고
reanimate
있습니다.
the 2017
그래서
miracle.
그런지 오늘 경기력도 좋았던 것 같아요.
Your performance has been quite immaculate today.
다소 과감한 빌드로 출발을 하셨거든요.
In the first set, you went with a very aggressive build.
원래는
What was the reason behind that?
CBT를 못하게 해처리를 지어서 링 올인을
I was gonna build a hatchery and gonna go for the Zergling rush.
그 제가 선코를 제 머릿속에 생각을 안 하고 가서
And I didn't predict cybernetics core, and then things kind of got really twisted.
바로 2, 3세트를 따낸 이병렬 선수인데요.
But you did end up winning the second and the third set.
박용 선수가 최후의 적으로서
In season
정말
2,
최대 숫자였던 프로토스들을
Dark
하나씩
ended up
뚫고
beating so many Protoss players and ended up winning the GSL season 2.
아, 이번 시즌은 이병렬 선수
This season,
전체적인 분위기는 어떻게 느끼고
do you
계세요?
think you can do it this time around?
영호의 토스전을 많이 보고
I've seen Dark do his ZVP a lot, and I've witnessed it,
제가 되게 많이 연습을 했어요.
and I practiced according to his strategies.
토스전을 많이 제가
And I definitely realized that his way of playing against Protoss players is very effective.
해서 토스전을 하면은 뭔가 손이
And I hope I can show it more on stage.
박용 선수 스타일에 그 가난한 적의 운영을 많이 연습을 또 하신 거예요.
You're saying that you practice Dark's unique style of play.
안 맞는 거예요. 그래가지고
I mean, I was practicing it, but it wasn't really suitable for me.
생각을 좀 하고 있어요.
So I'm kind of fixing on it right now.
해봤지만 이병렬 선수의 스타일과는 조금 많이 다른 것 같아요.
You're saying the style is quite different from your play.
선수의 실력 저희가 믿고 있으니까 또 기대를
But we know that you're a very skilled player.
아까 해설에 많이 들리자면 인지도가 낮은 해외 저그들의 게임들까지 다 챙겨 보신다고 하던데.
Apparently, the rumor says that you tune into the international Zerg players.
저그는 세랄
Not really.
안 챙겨보고
I only watch Zeros plays.
저는 영웅이나 세랄 거는 무조건 다 챙겨보고
I watch Dark and Zeros plays.
그냥 생각나는 것만 챙겨보고.
And apart from that, I just tune in time to
그러면
time.
이병렬 선수가 인정하는 딱 선수는 그 두 명.
So you're saying that those two people you have high respect for?
인정하긴 하는데.
Yes, I mean I do have high respect for lots of players.
걸 보면은 저도 배우는 게 너무
But
많아가지고.
those two players I learn a lot from.
네, 이번 시즌 이병렬 선수와 또 그 선수들의 활약
Yeah,
기대를
we look forward to your
해보도록
performance
하겠습니다. 자, 이번
this season.
시즌만큼은 이병렬 선수가 블리즈컨을 위해서 더욱
This season you're striving very hard to get your ticket to BlizzCon.
들려주시죠.
Anything you would like to say to your fans?
오랜만에 또 GSL 경기를 해서.
And it's been a long time since I last played GSL.
경기력이 제 스스로 뭔가 만족.
And today's performance was not satisfactory.
제 연습실의 감을 좀 다시 찾아야 될 것 같고.
I think I need to find the feel that I have at my practice room.
많이 응원해 주세요.
And please do continue to cheer for me.
축하드리겠습니다.
Once again, congratulations on your win. And that is the end of the interview.
이렇게 GSL 시즌 3 첫 번째 16강 진출자 이병렬
Great job there by Rogue, and I think it could have gone either way.
Yeah,
easily.
absolutely.
I think those are a great way to start off a brand new season of GSL.
Well, Parting's looking very good as well, so I'm getting a little bit worried for Special.
Ooh.
You know, he had such a great season last season. He had a great WCS run. He's still in fantastic shape.
He even looked pretty good in some of his games earlier.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But, you know, parting right now is really, like, the way he's played so far tonight. If he gets round of 8 again, I won't be surprised. Like, this was just good
Well, now
play.
we're going to head out to a quick break, so don't go anywhere. I've got the losers match coming up.
The sun is out almost every day. My job is glorified child's play. Most parts are working in my brain. I can't complain. I can't complain. We can find some good in everyone. Some will make us smarter, some help us have fun. A few will do us harm, but be glad we're not numb. We're the fortunate ones. I'll take the tough times that are thrown my way. I'll learn my lessons from the pain. It isn't always fair, but at least I'm playing the game. I can't complain. Oh, I just want you to know that I am grateful for every rise and fall. I want to show that I am thankful.
역사의 한 페이지를 장식한
어떤 카드를 던질까에 대해서 머릿속으로 진짜 고민이 많아질 수밖에 없는 상황이
시즌 3연 수고전 골든 트로피의 주인공이 됩니다. 연전 연승까지도 시작한 매치에서는 지지 않는 포스를 뽐내고 있는데 진짜 이걸 잡아요. GSL
에브리바디 째째! 이미 30딜리스트를 입겠어.
바라봐야 될 태양.
걔 어떻게든 살아나라. 포기하지 말자.
2019. Mountain Dew GSL Season 3. Code S. Reversal.
And we're back.
The beat has been turned up.
Yeah. Rogue took out Parting 2-1. Definitely Parting could have won this series.
Yeah, I felt like that was kind of Parting taking out Parting there at the end.
It was a bit. I mean, Rogue definitely had some redeeming things too, though. But it was a great series, actually. I really enjoyed that one. Now we're going to go into a Terran versus Terran matchup. We haven't seen this matchup too much in GSL lately.
Yeah, it was more PvPs last season.
Yes, it certainly was more PvPs last season.
Oops, all Protoss. So now a TVT where I think this is very doable for Special and for Alive. This is also something that he's capable of winning, but I have no way of assessing Alive's power level right now because we didn't really see that much in his first series.
He's had some good TVTs in the past, but that's in the past. Right now, Special is a very strong TVT player. There isn't a question there. He's extremely strong in this matchup. I think overall he's a better Terran than Alive right now. But hey, I'm hoping that Alive really pulls something out and shows us something. As much as I'd love to see Juan advance and get far, hell, I want him to be the GSL champ, but I'm always ready for Alive to, bust out good play, which he does sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is Special's 5th season. Alive's been here for like 15. So let's get into game number 1 on Thunderbird. See how it's going to go.
Africa S2. Alive.
They cheer before and after the player. Got some sick Alive fans in the audience.
Well, this might be the only time they get to see him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess going out in the round of 32, definitely not ideal.
Ocean Gaming. Special.
And for a while, Special actually did that. He would qualify for GSL, and then that was still when it was kind of a new concept of having non-Koreans in GSL.
Yeah.
He was one of the first ones to do it. He's done it 5 times, and man, he just has struggled to get past that mark. But recently, he's overcome that barrier. He made it to, the finals of, WCS. So he's like, okay.
Yeah.
Lots of transformation.
He definitely has had his breakouts now, right? It's important. Like, yeah, I mean, he's had some very good years. That year where he only lost to Neeb and but to hit that finals, to kind of do as well as he has in GSL. Thing is, it feels very right now for him to be in GSL. He is a player that, wow, look at that, 7-0, that's crazy.
And it's all in Legacy of the Void, too.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot has changed over the course of the season. It's not like that's, totally ultra super relevant, but I mean, that's one hell of a one-sided matchup. So for Special, I guess he doesn't really know what it's like to beat Alive, at least not in kind of home territory.
No, I guess not. Well, we'll see, because I think right now Special is better than Alive, so who knows? But anyways, it feels right for Special to be here. Like Code S nowadays, I feel like both Special and Scarlet definitely belong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, these players are of the level, right? They've lived in Korea for so long. All the Korean players know them. Their styles are more Korean than they are NA or EU. It's not like the old days where when they qualified, it was like, oh, they had a close game. It's more like, yeah, these players can make it out of the group.
Well, in a little way, this feels like, kind of a return to the very first olden days when we used to see pro gamers like Jinro and Huck come out to Korea, who were really, overperformed by a lot of people's standards. But as StarCraft 2 refined, obviously, we hit that period of time where it's just like Koreans winning everything. And now GSL Code S continues to be the place where the best players play. And I think that now that we're including non-Korean players, that's really exciting. So is breaking up that ramp so devastatingly. Wow. The chills, Artos is Alive, just barely able to win that fight with half a Reaper left.
Yeah. Really important that Hellion died. All right, there we go. Cleaned up. I was scared for him for a moment there.
That is, wow, it's really rare that you see such an even trade of even units. I mean, ideally you would expect that would happen, but it just so rarely does.
Yeah.
Both players kind of doing those skill tests once again to try to see exactly where their opponent's putting their priority. And let's see what the divergences are. Looks like early Raven here for Alive.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see both sides get into a couple of early Ravens
Surprise.
here. Yeah.
Or not surprised as it is. Yeah, imagine opening without a Raven in TVT. I feel like they're just so good.
No, it's such an important unit, whether it's the armor bust or the disable. Like, it is just, even auto turret is so useful. You need to grab a couple of them.
Yeah, I think they really function in so many roles. So let's find out what the fate of this Widow Mine is, because for Special, they've been kind of going off today. Literally.
You know, it looks to me like Special might have just, you know, a tiny, tiny lead right now. He did get the faster command center, and now they're getting their third commands at the same time. So when you add that all up, and they basically have lost the same units, seems all right for him.
Okay, good. Checking with the Marine. Does still lose it, and let's find out if he loses the Widow Mine. No. Wow, 6 save.
That is a nice advantage for Special, no doubt. Now, it's not like a game-ending thing, but everything seems to be going his way just slightly.
Yeah, and he does still have the Raven, so theoretically, in the future, that Widow Mine might not have such a good outlook on life. But, I mean, hey, Special really hasn't shown any signs of weakness right now. He's defended it really every turn. And I am glad that we get a chance to see this game really go on and get a chance to see more of what these players have in store. Because for Alive, we don't really know. And for Special, I'm excited.
Yeah, he might actually be going mech this game. I'm kind of thinking that he's going to. I mean, if he is deciding to go bio, it's going to be quite a late stim start for him, quite a late engineering base start time for him.
Right. So I don't think you'd ever really expect, at least early on in a series, Alive to go mech.
Yeah, well, Alive is not a mech player really in any matchup, to be honest. But Special does throw down his barracks just a little bit later here. No engineering bays or anything like that as of yet. A scan goes down, he sees the barracks, so that is an extremely important scan there by Alive, because that is something that you question, because Special's one of the players that really feels pretty equally comfortable with either.
Yeah, and so now it is his turn to throw down the barracks, the engineering bays, and so it is going to be just a little bit later, like you said earlier. But it's all off of that scan information, obviously.
Look at that, 3 Ravens. This is the new meta. How many Ravens does Special have? Yeah, it's just 2. Okay.
This is like the modern version of those jump rope grinds. Like, how many Ravens does it take? 1, 2, 3. I don't know how long we're gonna go there. There's so many ways you could do that. You could do that with like the Count from Sesame Street. You could do that with Tootsie Pops. There's just all these things we need to find out the right number for.
Well, it's 3, but
you got a powerful tongue for those Tootsie Pops, Artosis.
You better believe it.
They didn't stand a chance.
They're good.
Artosis has like, what is it, Komodo dragon saliva, like can dissolve concrete.
I think it's actually the bacteria in their saliva that causes all that.
Well, you probably have that too. I don't know. All those years of being a vegetarian, you got to have something to break all that down.
Yeah. All right, so the move out right now from Special, I don't think you'll really get anything done. There's 3 defensive Ravens, so you'd have to disable the tanks and the Ravens. I don't think that that's possible.
Yeah, I mean, you could do those like sexy queued up disables where you interference matrix everything all at the same time. I mean, he's pretending.
It's nice zoning that he's doing here because he does have those Vikings. He's pushing the Ravens back.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, the harassment Raven.
Cute one. Obviously, if Special decides to force the issue, man, that volley.
Yeah.
Oh, and look at that. 3 Marines, I guess, catching or being caught by that tank in the back. Obviously, you don't really want that tank to be fighting
Who is
2 Marines.
catching whom?
That's true. We have a little bit of a Rorschach moment where we don't truly know.
Okay, well, this push is kind of funny. I feel like what Special is doing here is only based off of the air. Like, I don't think he has any intention of trying to bust anything here. He's just trying to pick off important units.
And I think that's why Alive felt comfortable sending that Raven across the map. Is he kind of figured out he's probably not going to force the issue here. Now, that being said, if he gets more volleys like that and maybe picks off a couple of Ravens, anything's possible.
But this harassment Raven did so well. 12 SCVs and a lot of lost mining time. Look at the worker difference right now. Special had a 3 worker difference earlier on.
Man, today is just teaching me you don't kill the guy with your army. You just put 1 or 2 units, and apparently that's all you need to kill catastrophic numbers of workers. There's the interference matrices.
That's funny. One of them did not get done siege before he did it. So kind of a clever move right there. I can't believe he's actually just pushing this all down with one Liberator. This is so technical from Special.
A decent spread there on the Marines, so he's doing a good job denying at least the slow Liberator crawl. But on the other side, it's continual value from that Raven that Alive sent over there. There's no gas SCVs mining where there used to be before.
Oh my God.
Whoa!
Oh my God, that was a beautiful move from Alive right there. Disabling all the tanks.
He disabled them, he Dorito'd the army. It's just so sick to see that come from behind attitude, and now Alive not only gets to defend the high ground, but really puts Special on guard.
Wow, what amazing moves from Alive. The 3rd Raven and then the Raven flank. Like, yeah, you're gonna lose him in that situation, but they did work. They pushed this back. That was kind of the only advantage that Special had at this point. Yeah. And now he has to turn around and go home.
It's a 20 army supply lead here for Alive after all is said and done. Obviously, pushing across the map is never something you can do lightly, so Alive doesn't want to overextend, but I mean, wow, yeah. I didn't see that coming, and neither did Special.
He's got 3 more tanks, and he's got 5 medevacs against 0, so that's
look
a gigantic. That is so big for Alive. Now, the fact that he's loading them all into medevacs, I don't know that I agree with that. I think you siege this, that's a great move. Oh, he's going for it, okay. Maybe this just works.
You will try. Man, who is this, Gumiho playing?
Oh my
the
God.
Doom drop in the main. A lot of SCVs there to defend, but they don't last very long, and neither do those Marines. It does it Alive.
All right. Finds his way in there and ends it. You know what? It felt like Special had a slightly better opening. He had kind of a cool push going on. But Alive setting up those auto turrets on the other side of the map, the flank there, and Special is still in a position where you can still fight, obviously, right? You got siege tanks, it's hard to break, but utilizing his biggest advantage, which was 5 medevacs against 0, just killing him immediately.
Really interesting. So you have the Viking advantage, and that's something that Special uses. Then, there's the Raven advantage, which I didn't know was an advantage. The flank coming in and the harass behind it that Alive used. And then he's like, wait a second, the Vikings are gone, and I have tons of medevacs. Let's go for it. And that is one of the most archetypical examples of when a Doom drop works.
All right, so Special's life on the line right now. He hasn't won a map tonight. He's in the shape of his life right now, but he's down 0-3. He has to win the next 2 maps to go on to that final match. Cyber Forest next. It was Special's pick, so we'll see if he can bring it together here against Alive.
Yeah, I mean, Special's chauffeur was TY, so he obviously has got a lot of preparation before this. Let's see if it pays off in Game 2. This is
Afrika S2 Alive.
And his opponent is
Ocean Gaming Special.
Now, speaking of Special Artosis, you know what this game is?
What?
This is, as I discovered over the break,
StarCraft 2.
Game number 3,943, which is a prime number. Ooh. So I figured that out earlier. It's also the only prime number for another like 6,000 other numbers after it. At least if the website I went to was correct, and also I did the long division too. So it works, and I'm happy that we get a chance to enjoy this momentous moment. Also StarCraft 2.
All right. Well, that's very exciting to have a
I knew you would be excited by that.
It's going to be a very long time before we have this again. I'm glad that you and I could share this together.
That's true. In fact, this is the only time this will ever happen. Today is the only day you can post this.
Yeah. Wow. Well, no, you don't know how long we're going to do this GSL for.
We might finish all numbers and have to restart from 0.
What if, okay, how old would I be at that point when we get to the next prime number? You said it's like 6,000 numbers away?
It's a long ways away. I'd actually have to look that up instead of cast StarCraft. So instead, I'm going to let our viewers help me out with that one, but it's going to be a while.
It's like probably 30 more years of GSL.
Well, let's not sell ourselves short, Artosis.
Wow.
I believe.
Wow.
It might be auto GSL by that point.
Oh my God.
I can't wait.
The most competitive auto chess
That
game.
we'll still put that in the subtitle. Most competitive. What is it? 1 versus 1 versus 1 versus, yeah, however many we're doing at that point. It might be an auto battle royale RTS at that point.
Oh, I can't wait for that. That's
Oh,
gonna
the
be
future
amazing.
is looking bright, Artosis.
You know, I shook my head when everyone was into The Sims. Nowadays, I'm getting whiplash every other day. All right, let's take a look at these openers here. Starport's making on both sides. Command centers, very similar stuff. Looks like Alive. Ooh, gonna get the poor engage right there. Loses his Reaper. And getting pushed back by Special.
Yeah, it's kind of iconic how these tiny early interactions matter so much. Last time it was almost perfectly even. This time, Special killing it, going to get a delay on that command center.
Well, I guess the problem is, right, Alive immediately went across with the exact same unit set that Special had. And so when you do the transition from low ground to high ground, Special gets the first volley, and that's all she wrote, right? You win that straight up. There's no wiggle room at that point. And now that he's delaying this command center so much while his zone is finishing, I mean, that's very nice. He does not even have to lose any of this.
Nope, he gets to escape correctly and away, and man, back at it again. There's that Widow Mine. I'm so PTSD'd from the game versus parting, which, you know, I know he still didn't win, but that was pretty horrific. Although it seems like Alive is not falling for his shenanigans.
Well, let's see what he's going to be able to do with this drop. That's like not a very scary drop, to be honest. Hellion, 2 Marines, Reaper. There's no stim or anything. I mean, I guess you may as well put some pressure on.
I don't know. I'm
right?
just always scared of Alive drops at this point, Artosis. That last game was pretty much the most graphic display of the Doom drop. If you guys are wondering what we talk about, that's it. And so here we go. I mean, maybe all he picks off is this depot, but he's heading for the mineral line.
Yeah, you may as well try to actually get some damage done here. There's a Siege Tank and 2 Marines, though, waiting. So not likely to get too many kills.
Yeah, that one Reaper is really tanking quite a bit of damage. And yeah, it doesn't really get much accomplished. He'll be able to escape. Alive.
Yeah, the Raven production is beginning here for Alive. We'll see if he goes for 3 once again. Whoa! I think the Widow Mine just hit that.
Yeah, I'm guessing that was what that was.
That was the Cyclone, right?
Yeah, exactly. And now it is...
Alive is having a hard time going up hills.
It's definitely not his forte for sure. And so now he's going to take unnecessary damage on the other side. Finally, Special has a lot of things that are going his way early on. It kind of felt like he got pulled a little bit apart in his series versus parting, but now another huge connection.
Everything going wrong for Alive right there.
I don't know, part of me just is Special is he's playing I don't know, Tinder Terran. He's just making all those good connections.
Well,
also the Hellions are setting things on
I want to
fire.
make a joke about this, but I don't know which way you're supposed to swipe to say no.
You're saying Alive is about to swipe left on Special strategy?
I was going to say it the other way around, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad I can help you be hip with the kids these days, Artosis.
I do appreciate that.
This newfangled technology.
I know, it's so weird. On your cell phone, really?
I can't wait until they have like auto battle social relationship apps where I can not only meet the love of my life,
you should move
but also
to Silicon Valley. I'm sure someone will give you $1 billion.
There's a startup with my name on it, man.
Yeah.
Let's find
out. From Special here into the main base.
So this does have stim Artosis, and thus is a scary drop. It's funny how that works. And in the future, he'll be able to get that even faster. 2, 3, 4, now more. SCV's going down, and it just doesn't stop. Okay, there it does. 4 down in the end.
And it almost looked like he killed that auto turret with the Marine. Wow.
Indeed, the auto turret, perhaps the predecessor. I love triggering.
Yeah.
Like that. It's so fun. Okay, well, here's Alive to try to do the revenge drop. It doesn't have quite as much in it, and there's more back at home to defend. So safe to say, Special has a tiny advantage at this point. Let's see what he's going to do about it, or with it.
Oh, that medevac gonna get picked off as well. Everything's going wrong for Alive. Like, every move he makes just doesn't seem quite there. He's like walking up hills into mines and then just leaving medevacs out in the open. Here he goes. He's walking into siege tanks. Just gets out of range that time, luckily.
Well, now Alive realizes he probably needs to have something. Nothing's working out for him, so this is it. He does have the interference matrices or the auto turrets just to tank a little bit up front. Gets the damage done, but now he doesn't have any Ravens left.
Yeah, this was a pretty desperate act that we just saw there from Alive. Does siege up, so it's hard to get down there. We'll deny this third base for a little bit, but that didn't feel like a good trade for Alive.
Yes, certainly. I mean, this is the purpose of this push out. He's a little bit behind, He knew he needed to get something done. I just don't think that was it. Loses every Raven.
Yeah, well, Special just lost his Raven flying out there to get some vision. It's a little bit sloppy from him. Continuing to push back everything that Alive has on this side of the map. Alive down 20 supply right now.
Yeah, and before that he was only down about 10 supply, but the real big thing was he didn't have that third base. And so when he pushed out, he did expand behind it, but I mean, we still haven't really seen that come up yet. Now Special's knocking on his doorstep and has that huge army supply advantage.
Yeah, moving forward with these tanks. Might be able to set up a little area here, start pushing forward. He does. Oh, he scans and sees the medevacs trying to go.
Not this time, Alive. Fool you once, that'll get you, but second time, Special, he's hip to his jive.
He's hip to his, what's the word I'm looking for?
I had to
here?
rewind my brain.
His jive!
That's what it is.
His jive artosis.
That's what the kid said 85 years ago. Oh my God.
I'm glad you found the word you were looking for.
I did. I hunted it down.
It kills
there.
you when you can't get that perfect word.
Mercilessly. Thanks for the help there, Artosis.
Yeah.
I would have thought out of all people to remember archaic words, that would be where you'd kick in.
I try my best.
All right, more beats less here, Artosis. More Vikings in the air continue to give Special that air advantage. That means this new base is about to be an old base.
Yeah, those SCVs end up squatulating immediately.
They really got out of there, didn't they?
They did.
Alive. I don't know how much longer he's going to stay that way. He finally saves the command center at the last second.
Oh.
That was clutch, but he's getting damage done on the other side.
This game is a little bit of a clown fiesta right now. It's getting crazy. So much damage going down on both sides. Look at the amount of SCVs that just went down for Special.
How many drops will it take?
Gosh.
1, 2, 3. He's continuing to try it.
Dude, Alive now has bigger army supply and more workers. How did this happen?
I felt like Special was making a good move there, Artosis, because Alive had other ideas. That drop that got 23 SCVs down? I don't even think... The story of today is I don't expect as many workers to die as do. And now Special, realizing he needs to get a little bit of damage done, Alive's back at it again.
Yeah, continuing to get a little bit of damage here and there. Special pushing very hard over here at the third base of Alive. Alive just going to send medevacs out again. They do get scanned. Oh, that's something he could even jump on. Look at that.
The vulnerable tanks?
There's like 2 tanks and just a few Marines. No medevacs here.
Yeah. I mean, they do have Marines along with them, but all you have to do is just crawl forward, then go for it. Back at home, Alive is finally pulling his drop back. There's one Marine that'll kill that dropship in a second. Yep, there it is.
Well, those Marines still going to get some kills, though.
Yeah, every little bit counts. I mean, it's a 30 supply advantage for Special still, but you're right, for a moment there, Alive was in a pretty good spot.
Well, he's still fighting.
Yeah.
He's still trying.
Oh, he's
Special
trying.
does have a strong position, though, up here on the high ground. Not really allowing him to mine from his third base.
Yeah, the third base is the real kind of nail in the coffin here. While the armies might have seemed even there for a second, Special has an entrenched third base economy. He's got sensor towers up, he's got widow mines in place defending it, siege tanks back home, and even as he rallies more and more units across the map, I think Alive's moment of advantage is about to expire.
Oh yeah, it's looking rough. He's trying to float over to a new base. Look at this flank onto the tanks. He actually only gets one there. We've seen a lot of units diving on things that they aren't getting in the series so far.
I never know. This is one of those mysterious moments for me. And I feel like there's just some moments where you kind of have to hold your breath because you know it's coming. And I think it's Terran, especially when you're dealing with this Marine versus tank microcosm of the matchup. You really have to know that ahead of time. And it's been a little bit ambiguous. No, that's not the way you're supposed to go. Special does lose a couple of the medevacs, but doesn't overcommit to that drop.
Yeah, that could have gone a lot worse, but he does pull out. Okay, it looks like Alive wants to clear the center of the map. He actually has 2-2 against 1-1. This is a perfect timing for him to do
Those
so.
upgrades kicking in perfectly, and he mows down almost everything that Special has vulnerable in the middle of the map. Now, there's still another force out there, but Alive has stemmed his way all the way across the map, and there's not very much there to defend, but barely just enough.
This is such a strange game to see, actually, because it feels like Alive has lost it several times, and then Special will just kind of overextend a little bit, be out of position slightly.
That is certainly a trend for today's games. We've seen overextension.
Everyone's so hungry to just end the game.
And every time, the most cliche thing you can say is like, this player is hungry to win. It's like, well, yes, they both are. But man, I mean, these players haven't eaten in years, RO32.
Yeah.
They're just famished. And look at that, gonna target down the command center, but right before it dies, this is when Alive wants to go. Instead, he doesn't get any damage done. He doesn't save his command center, and now he's back at that economic disadvantage. So now he's trying to cause one for Special, but this is not that previous drop. It's not killing 23 SCVs. It's dying here, and with this, maybe the economic nail in the coffin.
Yeah, looks like Alive will clean this up. He's like retaking this area, I guess, but doesn't even have a command center over there to mine from. He still has enough army to play around with, though.
I mean, a nice concave on top of a ramp, both of those things a great place to fight, especially if you have that upgrade advantage, but he doesn't anymore.
No, he doesn't really have any advantages going on at the moment, to be honest. Like, he just started his 3-3, so he's a little bit behind Special on that. Gonna float a command center down, rightfully so.
Yeah.
But it feels like Special just, for most of this game, has had most of the map control.
Exactly. There's that brief moment where that drop did a bunch of economic damage. It was like, oh, okay, maybe this is it. Well, no, it wasn't. And keeping those tanks unsieged, not going to make them very good against Marines. There's one siege in the back. The Special catching a lot of precious units there for Alive.
So, Special, he's got a big siege tank lead. So if he sets up defensively, it doesn't feel like Alive can get too much damage done. But Alive is outmaneuvering Special to a certain degree.
Yeah, I mean, Special is doing his best to sort of force the siege and stutter step and make Alive take as much time as possible to get across the map. Meanwhile, he's getting up another base. He's stimming these tiny groups of Marines in, and oh, look at this, nothing back home to defend.
I gotta pick off a few SCVs there at least.
Ooh,
oh
the
my
bonus
gosh.
tank.
Yeah, seriously.
It's these little tiny things, as well as the big thing, the advantage that Special is building little by little.
Yeah. When you put all the things together, that's the state of the game right there.
Rest in peace. An excellent podcast. Well, now Alive has cleaned everything up on his side of the map, except for one small push that's up there, but not really dealing any damage. Although here it comes, looking to do a little bit more. There's some siege tanks up here, so I'm not sure how much that'll do, but it's persisting.
On some units, I mean, not too bad. Alive trying to find his way into the main base once again, does get pushed back. These sensor towers going up and a well-placed depot. Seems very hard to attack Special right now.
Definitely, especially double sensor tower, siege tanks on high ground. I mean, missile turrets, scouting depots. He is very entrenched. And I think that's a good decision to go with because he has such a solid economic advantage, that new fourth base coming up. And I mean, that's a floated command center to the third for Alive.
Oh, it's tough. He's on 2 CCs, so we can't really call this 4-base play.
Certainly not. And now I think this might be kind of that final big push. Alive is going to try to circumvent, fighting heads up and go for a stim on in. There's a couple of tanks there sieged, and that's going to do it. Special with an overwhelming advantage takes Alive out to tie up the series.
Yeah, but he's not looking as solid as he normally does. It seems like Alive has gotten under his skin a little bit. He's being a little bit more wasteful than what we're used to. And Alive, he had some comeback moments in that game. So definitely showing some life here in this series against Special.
Well, he's going to need to because his tournament life is on the line. And so is Special's. You can see neither player really happy with the state of the game at this point. So I don't know what Alive really needs to change necessarily, but Special did feel like kind of a step ahead during Game 2.
Yeah, certainly the case. Now we're going to go into Acropolis as our last map here. Excited to see what these guys are going to bring out. Think there's any chance that we're going to see Mech here?
I think probably more viable for Special,
Yeah,
but I think Alive probably wants to put on too much pressure with something like a double medevac timing attack or any of these kind of drop harassments. And I'm worried that one player, I think especially Special, will fail one of these like early timing skill checks. And Alive is so good at them. Let's see if he's good enough to advance on to the winner's match. Our Blue Terran player, he is
Africa S2, Alive.
with those home color advantages. This is about as close as it gets to like a home field stadium. We're in the Africa studio. He's in blue. He's on the team Africa. But this guy,
Ocean Gaming, Special.
he's got the power of Tabasco on his side. Fan gifted him that. I'm just like, okay, well, sick meme, but I think it's from Louisiana. So, you know, I don't know how Cajun Special is.
Yes.
But certainly, I'm sure there are plenty of Doritos out there cheering Special on, too.
I hope so. That's right, someone did send a whole thing of Tabasco sauce, like little tiny jars that I think got given out to the fans, so.
That's kind of hilarious. I mean, I guess when you think of something that could be vaguely Mexican, Tabasco might be on that list.
Well, it's hot sauce, right? So.
Yeah, but like, if you consider
definitely
like,
American-made, though.
Yeah, Tabasco is not the hot sauce of hot sauces. Like, you gotta get some
Out
of those.
here, it is actually considered the hot sauce because it's like the one that's in every restaurant.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Artosis.
It is.
I
It's
mean,
in, like, every
out
restaurant.
here for sure.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying.
objectively, coming from eating my fair share of.
It would always be subjective, though, right? Because it's like flavor.
Well, unless it's my opinion, and then it's subjective.
Objectively, your opinion? I feel like you would wake up a different day and say something else.
I guess I'll just have to find out then, Artosis.
Yeah.
I can't do that now, can I?
No.
Unless this
We'll
is all
test you, though.
simulation.
Many different reads have many different opinions on the hot sauce.
Wow, I gotta go get those guys. This is a much different.
It's like the worst version of the one movie ever. It's about hot sauce.
Although I will say the ending of the one, by far, my favorite Jet Li ending ever. So badass. That's how I'm gonna have to deal with all the other me's that have hot sauce opinions, Artosis.
Kill them.
I have to fight them on a ziggurat in space.
Yes.
I can see it now. Well, anyway, I can see identical builds on both sides.
True.
Literally pixel perfect for both players.
Oh, not anymore.
Until one day, all that changes. Thanks, guys.
Special with an extra barracks.
What a guy.
All right. Let's see what he's up to here. Where the starport is coming up for Alive.
And I think you always knew that Alive was going to go for starport. He values his first two medevacs specifically, very importantly, but also getting that early Raven out is just such an iconic part of TVT.
Well, I wonder what this build is from Special exactly. I'm not quite sure. Right? Because, like, getting the early second barracks. Oh, he's making Cyclone right now. I mean, is he just going to get a tech lab to get stim out a bit quicker?
Well, see, that's what I was thinking. Sometimes, obviously, you would go. There was those previous builds where you get like the mag field accelerator, but that's not if you're going to go for the extra barracks.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, well, I'm not sure what the purpose is for that tech lab, but we hope, as we do for all of you watching, that there is a purpose for it out there.
Well, I guess the part that's interesting to me is when you add the extra barracks, it kind of screams that you want to put on some pressure early on. But normally, if you want to attack early on, you like to have a Raven to disable any tanks.
Exactly. It's such an important part of this matchup.
But he doesn't have a star report, so it's clearly not that, right?
I feel like if you have to cut a part of the standard TVT opener, like the Raven might not be it. But yeah, currently there is not one.
Oh, sure. I don't know what this build is, so.
Yeah, I'm still looking for that Tech Lab's gonna have to like go on a sojourn, a walkabout, find its purpose in life. Currently, it is chillin'. The lock on, not in range.
A good turnaround right there. More Ravens being made from Alive.
I mean, I feel like Alive is killing it. As far as standard TVT goes, it's like, I do the thing. I build the 1-1-1, I get the Raven, I expand.
Yeah. No, it's very, very solid. You know, that's kind of the standard. Get those Ravens out and all that. Okay, couple Cyclones going down.
That's really interesting. I mean, it takes control of the Watchtower, but let's see if this sneaks by. Yes, it does. Oh, man. I mean, they say an open mine is like a castle with its gates unbarred and unguarded. Well, there's nothing guarding there. I'm going to block my ramp with SCVs. Well, sick, man. You're killing it. And actually, only 4 SCVs die, so that was not as bad as it
could have been worse.
Could have been.
Could have been worse.
He was lining them up there for sure.
Yeah, Special only down about 4 SCVs right now. And yeah, you see, like, for instance, that siege tank sitting back in a decent position if the bunker gets up as well. I don't know that you can really do an attack as Special, but maybe
look at this move. Oh, this is so sexy from Special. Pushing out, trying to find where that or the medevac was. Just barely missed it. But you could tell he knew that timing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think you kind of expect it from Alive. He's one of these guys that drops really continuously.
Well, I mean, Special's got drops of his own, so that's what we might be seeing loading up here in just a second. Although Alive's is going to hit first, and if it hits while those drops are back in Special's base, obviously they can be used defensively, although that's not the direction they're heading. Here we go. Nothing scouting this out ahead of time. Oh my goodness, a perfect drop here from Alive.
Very quick pull right there. It doesn't lose too many SCVs, just a couple left over in gas. Siege tank goes up in the natural to defend against this. Ooh, double medevac coming out, though. The counterattack from Special.
Yeah, and I think that consequently there might not be that much back at home. At lock-on, there's a Raven there for the disable, a couple of them, and this is a total shutdown.
That was just... The amount that didn't work was significant.
Wow, you know...
Did it work is no longer a yes, no question.
That is objective.
That is the answer to did it work is no 1,000.
That's almost as much as Iron Man loves us.
Oh my God.
Close it up. Rest in peace. I'm sure he's out there somewhere looking over all of us.
We got a bunch of little tiny Iron Men in this game right now. And
they are very small soldiers, Artosis. Indeed they are. Well, I think Alive kind of killing it. The more standard build, obviously Special has maybe a slightly higher supply count right now, but nothing is working for him.
Okay. I mean, this is... I guess the 2 racks opening just kind of threw me off a little bit, but double barracks, like, stim timing. The thing is it had the Cyclones as well, so it wasn't exactly 2-1-1. But it kind of was.
That mysterious Tech Lab, too, is still haunting my memories, but maybe we'll figure that out. If he does win and get into that winner's interview, we got some splaining to do.
Well, either way, the game seems to be normalizing a bit now. Live landing his 3rd command center. Special building his on location. Not quite done yet.
Yeah, that is actually a little bit of a difference in timing, and I think that's maybe due in part to how safe Alive felt. After defending against that drop, although I guess it was already on the way there.
A lot of times when you open up so technically, you'll see that 3 command center pretty quick. But the army size definitely does go to Special, right? He's the one that added that early extra barracks. He's been really focusing on making units. And he doesn't have the Raven to disable these tanks, but he does have a lot of units, so he's going to get up here and siege this command center.
Yeah, Alive sent that across the map, and I mean, that harass worked really well last time, but I'm not sure he can buy as much time as he needs. He does have 1 Raven back at home, but might need a few more.
Yeah, definitely Special wants to pick that off, if at all possible. Okay, a disable goes down on one of the siege tanks. Oh my God, beautiful armor shredding missile. Oh my God, why do I call it there? But looks like this Raven gonna be picked off as well.
Yeah, the Doritos turning against Special, coating his units in anti-armor goo. And now they're not going to be able to fight, at least until that runs out. Although I will say the one advantage Special does still have is this air army, this Viking account, higher for now. Oh, and now Alive, it felt like kind of piecemeal running in there. I'm not sure that's quite the timing he was looking for.
Oh, lifts those Vikings up immediately, continues to siege the command center now. Alive is going to have to lift that off, but the Vikings are waiting for it as well.
Yeah, it's on the air, in the ground. Like, that's where we're going to fight that. I don't know if he's going to be able to save that in the long run because he's running out of money. He actually just has no minerals.
Yeah, this is not looking very good for Alive right now. Going to try to break this one more time. SCV's being pulled again. The Vikings land to add their damage in.
So the Vikings do go down, and the SCVs will actually get on top of the tank. On top of the tanks, there were Marines there to defend. So everything dies. Now there's nothing to repair. This command center, not even any more minerals. But there's no Vikings to kill it in the air, so.
Yeah, Alive right now, down almost 30 probes, down in army as well. He has nothing out in the map, 3 mining bases for Special. This is only going to get worse for him.
Yeah, Special really got a death grip on this game right now. And for Alive, I feel like he made a couple of kind of questionable decisions. Obviously, you need to break that technically perfectly. Otherwise, you're just hemorrhaging units. And I think he might have lost just a little bit too many, especially that air advantage, which is going to make Special's Liberators so cash.
So cash.
Indeed.
Real money here.
Quite. They are... Those are going to be some fire Liberators, Artosis.
It's going to be lit.
Every kid out there knows we know what they're thinking.
Absolutely. So, Alive, he's going to move out. There's a sensor tower there, but he's going to see if he can't find damage somehow, some way. And I can't really blame him for doing that. It's not like you can sit back and turtle and win this game as Alive. He is
going for a little
quite far
doomy
behind.
drop right here. It's not like a doom drop, but it's like a doomish drop.
Yeah. There's some Doom-like tendencies from this drop, but like it's not big enough.
That's true.
So even if you get it off, it will get clean. It's just like, how much damage can you get done with it? So
like
far, not very much.
Yeah. I mean, it's out there, so at least it's putting pressure on it, forcing Special to respond to it. The only problem is that he can respond to it and also still be ahead. So I think really the only option for Alive to get back in the game is through those drops, and it's clear that Special knows it.
Yeah, Special doing a pretty good job defending. Ooh, I like that little kind of trap there with the siege tanks on the high ground.
Yeah.
Nice volley there into the Marines.
Look at Special. He's got turret rings. He's got Viking rings. He likes this game, so that's why he put a ring on it.
All right. I thought you were going somewhere else with that. Okay, Liberator coming in for some harassment. Alive continuing to just kind of rally across the map.
Oof. Well, here is that Doom Dog. It is unprotected. There are those Vikings there, but they don't stop the unload. Those are siege tanks on the high ground. The Marines coming out as well, and they will deal with everything that Special has to deal with it. One fell swoop for Alive, and if you got to pick one way to win the game, this is it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good try from Alive here. He doesn't have that much left over. Maybe this is a situation where Special just busts this and Alive's in trouble, but if Alive does enough damage with it, you never know.
I mean, there's a nice spread of tanks there to defend in Special's base, and he has reinforcements coming through. If he crushes this here, it's all but over for Alive. The tanks in the back not surviving long enough. And with Alive's force crushed, this is looking Special's way.
Yeah, you know, he's down 20 workers here. Oof. He's down a base as well as Special takes his 4th. But that was a strong move. If he can make a few more moves like that, the thing is you got to be careful too. If you waste too much army, Special will counterattack and you won't be able to hold on.
Yeah, these counterattacks and over-pushing and over-commitment, it's just been happening all day. So even though right now it looks like Special's in a good spot, like you just don't know. So anything can truly happen. Here's Alive dropping out the tanks. They're a little bit close to that bio. They will get a couple of volleys off here, but Special's tanks just in such a much better position.
All right, gonna go ahead and kill those tanks off. Alive has to find another area to try to run into. His army's so much smaller out here right now. Special's starting to chase a little bit.
Yeah, but once again, you don't want to overcommit to the push. Special not able to make it more than halfway across the map. And I mean, is this just him getting more ahead, or do you think he should be being more aggressive?
Oh, you know, I think that Special attacking right now is good. Like, just the fact that he's putting this pressure on, even if it's slow, it's stopping Alive from really doing any counter pressure because he's just so far behind. Another tank gets picked off. Huge tank advantage for Special at the moment. Just adding those starports as well, getting ready to switch it up a little bit, getting some Liberators.
Yeah, really a retirement plan here for Special. And I mean, we're essentially all in. Like, there's a third base mining technically, but it's the forward base. It's very vulnerable, and it has an entire Terran army bearing down on it with a 60 supply advantage. Special is not stopping. He's sieging a tank, or not even sieging a tank. He's just got that up there for damage, taking everything out in his path, and there's not too much left in his way before he hits this vulnerable base. That's it, GG. Special takes the 2-1 win to advance on to our final match of the night.
Yeah, it's a tough one for Alive. Once again, falling out so early in the GSL. His year is getting close to over. I feel bad for him, and he showed some signs of life in that series for sure, but he will not be going forward. He will not be having any sort of shot at BlizzCon or anything like that.
Nope, this is one of the last times we're going to get to see Alive this year. And for a while, this is where both of these players kind of ended their runs. Special would always get knocked out in the first round. Alive, he's been kind of that round of 32 perennial player. But now, this time, it is Special that will advance on to face off against Parting in our final match of the night.
First things first, this is the beginning of the end. Right between the rubber and cement. Y'all already know who wins. International, multi-platinum, savage animal, up, down, work. You ain't even got no friends in a city full of danger. Tightrope in. If you're thinking you can never take the throne from the kid, now look. This is the final test. Everything you got left. Now look. This is the final test. Everything you got left. Welcome to the wild, wild. Wild, welcome to the wild, 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 welcome to the wild. Look at you now, all of that you've been talking, but now you ain't making a sound. I am not a menace, I'm a monster. Never need to pretend a defender of the mantra. King of the pendulum, swinging higher than the next man. Dividend better than a billion. Red alert. Tell him that it's all in the footwork. Leave your man face down in the dirt now. This is the final test. Everything you got left. Now look, this is the final test. Everything you got left. Welcome to the wild, wild. Wild, welcome to the wild, 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 welcome to the damage. This ain't the way that you planned it. Push it to the limit, then we take off. Head to head, walk into a face-off. Damage. You don't know who you've been playing with. None of your threats are legitimate. Look, this is the final test. Everything you got left. Welcome to the wild, wild, wild. Welcome to the wild, wild, wild. Welcome to the wild, wild, wild. Welcome to the wild, wild.
던질까에 대해서 머릿속으로 진짜 고민이 많아질 수밖에 없는 상황이죠.
시즌 차명수고전 골든 트로피의 주인공이 됩니다. 연장 연승 달리고 있는 맨체스터는 지지 않는 포스를 뽐내고 있는데 진짜 이걸 잡아요.
에브리바디 째째. 이미 서른 딜리스트를 입히겠어. 바라봐야지. 태양. 걔 어떻게든 살아나라. 포기하지 말자.
Welcome back. We're in the final match. Or wait, is it the first match or the final match? Like, I don't even know because it looks the same to me.
It is definitely a rematch for both of our players, but obviously...
Oh, that's it. I should have thought of that.
Yes, you should have, Artosis.
Oh.
So many years. You've lived your entire life for this one meaningful failure.
We haven't even had a Mercadian Prime number of games yet.
Marcin Prime. They're named after Marin Marcin, the French philosopher and mathematician. God,
Didn't he die when he discovered plutonium?
Of a brain tumor.
There you go.
There you go. There it is, and here we are in a rematch of our first match, although obviously a little bit of momentum behind Special as he was able to overcome Alive, but I think he faces a parting that is just out for an untold amount of like blood and carnage, and I don't think he's going to make that same mistake 3 times, because he's already made it twice.
Okay. I think this will be a good one. Let's see it. New Repugnancy, Acropolis, King's Cove. We're starting game number 1. Here we go.
Fight.
Oh, so that counts series. Okay, so the series number is our prime number game.
One.
Wow, I was wrong all along. Also, I think I was counting Mercine versus non-Mercine. Anyway, that's the number of the game that
I didn't want to call you out in the Mercine.
Oh, okay, all right. Thanks, Artosis. You kept my mathematical vanity intact.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
I didn't want to make you feel like a fool.
Ocean Gaming Special.
Well, everyone heard you say it and was like,
now
whoa.
you ruined it, Artosis.
Whoa.
How could you?
Yeah.
So it's the proxy not proxy here from Special.
Kinda, yeah. A little bit of sneakiness going on.
Back in my day, we called this a Macarax.
I know, right?
Unfortunately, barracks don't quite work the same way they used to.
Those were normally in your natural behind the minerals. Remember that? That was like all the rage.
Yeah. Well, this is the third behind, well, in front of the minerals. We did away with those behind the minerals things at some of our bases.
You got to tech it out more.
Gone are the days.
It was too bad Maka didn't quite make it. He came back for a little bit.
Yeah, he did,
He actually got really high MMR in Korea for a little bit, too.
Was that actually the guy? I didn't think that was the guy.
That was the... Well, maybe there was... No, there was a... Maka actually did come back for a little bit. I'm
okay.
99% sure.
Wow. Blast from the past. Actually, you know, there's a lot
jam and stuff,
there's a lot of blasts from the past. I mean, we were talking about, like, you know, Teja and Bomber, but Super and Dream 2. You guys will get to see those in, you know, subsequent...
Are you ready for bombing?
Oh my goodness! I was a big fan of Bomber back when he was NSP Fancy back in Brood War.
Yeah.
That guy was so sexy.
Yeah. I lived with him.
What?
Yeah. He was on Eastro.
Oh yeah. Wow. Wow.
Him, Classic. I mean, there's a lot.
Is there anyone you haven't lived with, Artosis? God.
No, I've lived with all 20 billion people that have ever been alive.
Well, that's not very many people, Artosis. We're gonna have to get
All
to
lived
it.
on the planet Earth.
Nice.
So, right now. Twilight coming up for parting. He's making the Sentry as well. It's probably just a blink opener. He didn't do this at all in the previous series against Special, so keeping his build orders quite varied.
Yeah, this is another one of those like nice ways to test the waters. It's not ultra committed. There's a lot you can do with blink versatility-wise. But I think the biggest thing you can do is sort of stress test your opponent. And also, Blink is very good against Widow Mines, which seem to be kind of the meat and potatoes of Special's army.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll see something like that again. So, I mean, he is making some Widow Mines probably just for a little bit of harassment coming up.
Right, you always get the first one just in case, but actually sneaking by with a kind of a surprising amount all the way into the main. He's going to get at least a couple of probe kills here. This is kind of uncharacteristic that Party would just let this right through.
And yeah, okay, so he actually didn't kill as much as I thought he would there.
Yeah, the target fire on the probes was not ideal.
Was not ideal.
No.
That's a good way to put it. It was not ideal. Yeah, you see oh, wow.
There's like 3 probes that have 1 HP, so.
Yeah. Ooh, I mean, 5 probes and 2 probes are so different here.
Yeah, gonna drop a solid out of 10 on that one. I mean, the scouting, at least, that information is going to come back Parting's way. And
yeah, full info here.
I mean, that has to make him feel absolutely perfect. He knows that there's none of these, like, double barracks openers or anything, like, super crazy like that. And, I mean, I think if he knows what to expect from their previous encounter, even seeing this Widow Mine is not going to surprise him.
No. Well, the 3 Widow Mine drop looks like it's on the way. I think that Parting knows it's coming, so I don't really foresee it doing very much. These Terran players can be crafty. Robo coming up, 3rd Nexus as well. Very standard, solid stuff from Parting today.
Man, say that one more time, just so I can hear it for the second time it's ever
Parting's
been said.
playing macro games, man.
What are we watching? Well, those 3 Stalkers went to intercept this drop. They went the wrong way, and so all 3 mines get dropped off. The only problem is they will be relatively inconsequential here, and okay, that's not the way you're meant to use Blink, but
yeah, so
there it is.
Not perfect by Parting, but I guess that was good enough.
Right. I think as long as not all your probes die, it's successful. So, I mean, Special at least is trying that, is getting across the map. He doesn't save anything to reuse later. So I think Parting's probably really happy that there's less Widow Mines out on the map.
So 2 Forge on the way right now. And Special actually adding a bit of production here. This is all pretty normal what we're seeing from him. Probably the 3rd command center will come up quite shortly from here as well.
Yeah, you would imagine. Parting is definitely a little bit ahead of the curve on the commitment to playing a longer game.
Yeah, it feels like his timing on everything is very strong this game. Like the timing of the 3rd Nexus and the double Forge. Like, what it looks like to me is he's going to get away with all of it. Like, his economy is going to kick in, and he'll have 1-1 before an attack hits. And when you can do that, that's amazing as Protoss.
Definitely every Protoss player's dream. I mean, when you don't have the option to just instantly kill the guy. But, you know, a close second is being able to macro uncontested.
Well, just being able to kill the guy isn't the Protoss dream, it's the Protoss reality.
Well, we'll see Dream a little bit later on, so we can save some of those jokes for then, Artosis.
God, these puns.
They'll be there. So, serendipitously, somehow I will be able to cast that group as well, but
no
we'll
doubt.
we'll see if we can make that happen.
We'll give Tasteless food poisoning.
Oh, man, it's I don't know, it kind of looked like Parting had food poisoning at the end of his last series. He was definitely sick and not in the good way. Ooh, I don't want to take too many more of those shots, but
that medevac just kind of going out, coming back in. Oh, that scan, you know what? That scan, I think he's thinking, like, oh, maybe Parting's about to attack me. He's really turtling pretty heavily here. But Parting has no such intention. Look at this gateway explosion, charge in 1-1 coming up, and that's all going to finish before stim, which means, as previously mentioned, his economy will have kicked in and his upgrades have finished before an attack comes.
So Parting just has everything. And it might be, you know, the erudite viewers among us might look at, as they are taught to do, the supply and think that, you know, Special is in this like great place because he had like a 20 supply lead there for a second, but it's the infrastructure, right? I mean, Parting just has everything: upgrades, tech, macro buildings.
Now, to be fair, Special's macro is just now kicking in.
Yeah.
This is very normal. Like, Terran will always get a higher supply at this point in the game.
Ooh.
Wow.
Okay. That's that gif of LeBron having the ball shoved in his face and he just doesn't blink. Except in this case, he does.
Well, unless you blinked in with the stalkers.
That's true. That would be the way that
because
it would
those
happen.
stalkers did not blink.
They
did blink, but
that is in your face. That's right.
Yeah.
There's a clever play on words there, Artosis, that we are highlighting. But yeah, that was a really kind of punk move there by Parting.
Now, this attack coming out from Special actually still has potential. Even though all these things have worked out pretty well for Parting so far in this game, this is still a very scary attack. He's trying to slow it down as best he can. There's like 4 tanks. Oh, he's even pulling the boys.
The boys, or the indiscriminate SCVs, have been pulled across the map. And yeah, Stalkers, even with, like, they don't fight Stim Marines very well.
Yeah, he's got to be very careful about that. He has to engage this really perfectly. Well, that can be said really for both sides.
That is true. Engaging well, a useful talent to have in StarCraft. The Zealots, though, they're flanking instead of blocking on top, so the SCVs will get on top, and he doesn't even see the Zealots, but he doesn't have them there to protect his army from siege tank shots.
Okay, so he just blinked in and sniped the Raven, which is super, super big. The fact that you can't...
Anti-armor missile the Zealots, yeah.
It's...
Well, now he's walling with bunkers. A sexy play there by Special. The SCV's on hold position, so they bug out the Zealot AI. The Zealots aren't moving, and this is a huge push. Special getting so much damage done. He's taking out everything. Special with a win in game number 1.
Beautifully done right there by Special to take that down, because Parting had a pretty seamless opening, pretty seamless build.
That final push.
I do want to mention, right, because there was a lot of flack given even by me about the upgrade timings changing and stuff.
Yeah.
But his 2-2 was like 5 seconds from finishing. So like that does make a difference. But very nice micro there by Special. The fact that he got those bunkers started and had that nice wall against where the Zealots are coming in, that was gigantic.
What a timing attack to catch Parting playing, like we said, that not greedy, but very economical infrastructure style. His gateways, they got like maybe 1 round of production off, and then not a lot else. Perfect timing attack by Special puts him 1 game away from advancing on to the next round and eliminating Parting.
That would be so disappointing for Parting right now. He's really on this comeback trail, but of course, Special, he has his own career to worry about right now. His glass is foggy.
I mean, they both have quite the peepers out there, Artosis. Thanks for pointing that out. Although, once again, as always, Parting's incredibly on point. We're on our way to Acropolis for game number 2. Oh, my goodness. How epic has today been? Here we go. This is...
Parting.
Tell you, if he loses, it's kind of a loss for the tournament. One of the most charismatic, funniest people that we have.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Juanito brings his own special flair to the tournament for sure, but...
Ocean Gaming, Special.
Parting is truly one of a kind. I don't think we've seen really any player take the path Parting has taken for himself.
No, you're quite right. Well, both of these guys are big personalities.
Yeah.
So sad to see one go, but
the harsh reality.
Love to see one advance, I guess. Right?
Definitely. Well, also keep it. This
round
is
of
not
16 is half full,
or half empty, as they say.
That's true.
Yeah. The truth is that there's so many challenges left ahead of either one of these players. So even if they were eliminated or weren't eliminated here, then theoretically this tells us maybe they don't deserve to go on to the next round. But I think this is one of those rare moments where I could absolutely see either one of these players in the next round. I know Parting has more gas left in the tank, but I'm worried he might have psyched himself out a lot after a couple of really disappointing losses.
You might be right, but he is normally someone who doesn't really have those type of things happen. The thing is, he did a lot of throws against Rogue, and that last game, like, won it, but Parting played well, right? And he played fantastically in the first series against Special, so...
Yeah,
this is still really anyone's match.
I wonder if there's some degree to which Special is, double quotes, warmed up by now. We give him a chance to practice ahead of time, but, now your head's in the game. And you can really see that Special seems to be checking all of the boxes a little bit more fluidly than he did the first time he played against Parting. But we really haven't gotten to that big army versus army phase of the game yet. Special's just killed him.
Yeah. Well, he planned out that very, very sharp timing attack. Here we have 2 Adepts being made and a Twilight. So, I mean, no Stalkers yet, no Sentry yet. I wonder if he's going to go hyper-aggressive here.
I mean, that would be a return to form for sure. He's at least going to get a nice amount of harassment here on the natural expansion. Won't be able to cancel it. Oh, no!
Oh, my. That's so annoying.
Are you kidding me? That is so heartbreaking.
Annoying.
I mean, obviously it finishes instantly, but like, let's just be real. That's a rough one.
Okay, so the Adepts keeping a little bit of pressure on here. Robo on the way.
Yeah.
What's he doing with the Twilight?
Oh!
He's gonna do an Archon drop!
Yeah, man. He had some sort of like apoplexy, and he thinks he's playing a Zerg.
Yeah, actually, there is an Archon drop build that Jim gave him, if you recall.
What?
Where,
tell me more.
It's like charge Archon with 2 prisms.
Oh.
I don't know if that's something he has planned. Like, obviously, a DT is you can DT drop Terran. It's a real build. Hey, there's charge though. This might be Jim's build.
That would be really interesting if you happen to have that one eclectic piece of knowledge. You'd be in the perfect place at the perfect time. Your synchronicity is high right now, Artosis.
Okay. I hope that I can synchronize with this build, and I hope that's what it is.
I too wish you the most synchronous of predictions. Let's see. I mean, obviously, this is maybe not something Special would expect, and I don't think he's...
This is what it is. Let's see if he starts the second prism. There it is!
Whoa!
All right. So Jim has in the past been one of the very best Chinese players. He's still a very good Chinese player, but hasn't been doing as well in tournaments lately.
Right.
A friend of Parting's, and yeah, Parting has used this build once before professionally. It's quite strong. You have the DT tech, you come in with the prism, then you have like 2 prisms, you're warping in tons of charge lots and using Archons right on top of Terran production. Super deadly, super all in. Let's see how it goes.
Both things that could describe Parting. So,
yeah.
I mean, this is going to be it. I don't totally understand this just because I have personally seen this before, but
it's so weird.
I'm excited to watch this. I mean, to be great is to be misunderstood. Artosis.
Yeah, there you go.
I think that truly describes
Archon drops. That's the thing to do.
I can't
it's good
wait.
in all the matchups.
I can't wait to watch this. I also want to turn around and watch the look on Special's face when he finally sees this coming.
I wonder if he'll actually know what this build is.
So he knows something's coming. So he's pulled his
He
Marines
definitely
into
knows
the base.
something's coming. But you have 2 prisms, so to target them both down is very hard. Now, if he flies right into the Marines, obviously...
Sees him, backs away, but now the double prism. Oh, he does it right on top of him. No!
I can't believe he just did that.
Well, for a brief moment, there were 2 prisms there. Now there's not. There's a Banshee in his base. So there's a limited amount of damage this can do. Maybe it does deal some damage, but there's a cloaked Banshee that nothing there can see. So...
I can't believe he flew over those Marines. Like, yeah, you have 2 prisms, but... That Parting is really going to be kicking himself.
This is top 10 StarCraft anime betrayals right here, Artosis. That is a cursed image for sure.
It's like a Jekyll and Hyde moment where there's this alter ego inside of Parting that threw a ton of games tonight.
I expected to look over and there's like somebody moves his hand on the mouse to do that. That is a possessive moment.
I mean,
we got to get the Exorcist out here to save Parting from himself.
It was decisive, but there was just the DPS of Marines is so high, you just can't do it. Like, you have to do something else. You have to back it up and figure out a different way in. Go in 2 different locations with your prisms. I don't know.
I think that every other way that he could have used that would have been better than just flying over Stim Marines. I mean, you look at that. I've always wanted to look for the obscure way in which that could have been good, but I feel like I'm going to skip this one.
Because the build is kind of silly, but I mean, it has a lot of power. If the Marines aren't standing right there and you get that warp in round, it's like it's what, like 11, 12 Zealots and 2 Archons, and then more.
Right, and now, obviously, like you said, that was pretty darn all in. So here we go. We're coming back with one Warp Prism and a big push in the front. So there was some forces left back there to defend against the Warp Prism. So, you know, maybe this is going to break through, but I feel like there's no way this kills everything.
No way.
And yeah, Parting does not have a lot left over.
I mean, he got a couple of the tanks, I guess, but, you know, he's spending, like, everything here.
Ooh, I mean, I'm just trying to see some possible upside with Parting low in supply, worker count, tech. I mean,
yeah, he's just trying to bludgeon his way in right now. We'll see if he can do it. The walls coming back up immediately, though, make this so tough. Look at that, the Banshee DPS and the Marines.
If our good friend No Regret has taught us one thing, sometimes it is the 621st all-in that kills you.
That's true.
So maybe this is it. We're only 2 or 3 in.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't think he can even make a Nexus behind this. It's the same thing as GG. He's got to keep going.
You got to try to break through here. He has busted through for what feels like the 3rd or 4th time, but there's just nothing behind this. This is so, I don't know, dead.
Heartbreaking.
Yes, it is. I mean, a wise poet and playwright, Johannes Shakespeare, once said, "Parting is such sweet sorrow," and I think, indeed, this game iconicizes that moment.
Yeah. Parting does not even know what he wants to do. You see that?
Ooh. Yeah, does he warp it at home to try to defend? Does he try to keep playing aggressively? I think even Parting knows the aggression's not working out.
No.
So he's throwing up that Templar Archives, maybe somewhat optimistically.
What did he just recall? I think he actually just accidentally hit recall instead of chrono boost.
Oh,
on his,
no.
Pretty sure.
Well, he definitely does not look happy, but that could be because of a number of things.
Yes, really a number of things.
Oh, yeah, he is way
He really
tilted.
could have won this group, too. It's really, I mean, the thing, this group had so many good players in it. What can you do?
Shaking his head. He did the Jaedong sigh, where it's just the most painful agony a pro player can accomplish, because it's not that he is defeated by someone else, but that he's been defeated by himself.
Yeah, it's pretty well said, actually. So, Special moving out. This is a kill squad right here. This is the gun turned sideways.
I feel like the reason that we love Parting is because he is always himself. And now, oh no, if he loses his Warp Prism, that would be truly heartbreaking. It does have speed, so it's going to be able to run away, but I don't know what stops this. There's just so much versus so little.
No, long distance probe mine, he has to pull that stuff back. He's going to lose his wall. He can't engage this army. Even if he cleared this army, like, Special will just have another one. He has his 3rd command center coming. Storm's about to finish, so when Storm finishes, you can definitely clear with what he has.
Yeah, I mean, even with like the perfect storms. Okay, great job using the Warp Prism. He's picking things off. And, not fast enough, though. The Warp Prism goes down. There's nothing else out on the map for Parting. There's so many of these. Oh, and it finally does connect with the Zealots. So Widow Mines everywhere, and yeah, another base coming up for Special.
Yeah, Special is doing a good job at just keeping this game out of reach right now. Okay, so I think this is a decent idea for Parting, right? Mass charge lot, put some Psy Stormers into a Prism, see what you can get done. You know, you hit 6 good storms right in a row. Maybe that translates into killing a base, getting on top of the barracks. I don't know.
You're just gonna pray and let Artanis take the wheel. There's enough storms there to where if I pile all of Special's units into a ball, I can see it, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, well, those are not the worst storms.
Yeah, no, those are good.
Dropping the high ground storms. All right, well, that is exactly what that Widow Mine was for, and boom goes the dynamite. And with that, all the High Templar.
Yeah, Tetris for Special.
Classic, of course. The charge lots will do well enough until the Widow Mines come into play, and then they have to back off and go back and forth, and Special has that 3rd base up.
All right. Well, you know what? Parting, he put out some very interesting and cool games tonight. I think he actually played very well overall, but definitely going to be disappointed with himself. Special, on the other hand, hey, comes back, gets his revenge against Parting. GG. And Special gets his second round of 16 in a row.
Congratulations to Special, who I think we all doubted after his first series against Parting. But I think the true mark of a player that does deserve to advance is to not only have adversity but come back through it. So congratulations. And now we get perhaps the most exciting part of GSL, and that is that Andy gets to translate live on camera for our foreign language interview with Special.
That's right. I forgot. I was like, where's Andy? Oh my God, he's not here. But in fact, he is.
As a Kiwi, we have a person who speaks a very eclectic language. Now with Special, who is also very well spoken in his own way. And now we get to watch this all unfold for ourselves. So only greatness will follow here. I can't wait, Artosis.
네, 개막전 두 번째 16강 진출자입니다. 지난 시즌에 이어 2연속 16강 진출인데요. 후안 로페즈 선수 바로 만나보겠습니다.
We have our second winner of Group A opening day. It is Special. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you, thank you.
감사합니다.
감사합니다.
네, 가장 먼저 2연속 진출을 이뤘잖아요. 먼저 2연속 16강 소감을 들려주시죠.
It's your second advancement into the round of 16, GSL. How does it feel?
Coming today, I was feeling very nervous because I was not doing so well on the ladder. Like 3 days ago, I was doing amazing, and then I started dropping really bad. But I don't know, I feel like today I play quite well. I felt really great when I was playing.
이제 오늘 처음 왔을 때 좀 많이 긴장됐는데 이제 또 며칠 전에 레더에서 좀 안 좋은 모습을 보여가지고 이제 긴장이 됐는데 막상 오늘 와서 해보니까 성적이 잘 나왔던 것 같습니다.
네. 자, 이렇게 그래도 2연속 16강에 진출하면서 다음 기회를 노리게 됐는데요. 시즌2 때 처음으로 경험했던 GSL 시즌2 16강 어떤 경험이 됐었는지 궁금해하거든요.
So how was the season 2 GSL experience like?
It was very great. I felt against Kiro when I was in my last design match that I could have won, but I don't know. I made made bad mistakes that series. I felt like I could have got round of 8 that tournament, but I don't know. I was to say I always take round by round. So let's see how it happens now.
정말 이제 유익한 경험이었고 이제 히로 선수한테 졌는데 이제 많은 걸 배웠고 이제 많은 걸 고쳐갈 수 있는 계기가 되었던 것 같습니다.
네, 당시 투 토스 그리고 한 명의 저그 선수가 속했던 그 16강 조 사실 비하인드 스토리가 있었습니다. 당시 조지명식에 참가하지 못해서 현재 해설이 된 전태양 선수가 대신 조지명식에 참석해 조를 짜주신 거였는데요. 그 이후에 조는 마음에 들었었는지 전태양 선수와 이 관계는 좋았는지 무척 궁금했었는데 이 비하인드 스토리를 좀 들려주시죠.
You know, for last season GSL group nomination, you obviously couldn't attend because you're outside the country, right?
Yeah.
So TY came in place of you, and he did the group nomination. Overall, were you satisfied with the group?
Yes, I was. I wanted Impact as my first choice, and I wasn't too bad against the Protoss. Just it was my mistake, not his.
네, 뭐 전체적으로 만족을 했고요. 임팩트 선수가 이제 1지망이었습니다.
그렇게 만족을 대체로 했던 것 같은데 이번 시즌은 조지명 씨 꼭 함께 참석했으면 좋겠네요. 일정에는 혹시 영향이 없는지 궁금하네요.
This time around, can you attend this time GSL group nomination?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, 가능할 것 같습니다.
네, 이번 시즌은 조지명식에서 또 재밌는 입담 기대해 보도록 하겠습니다. 자, 마지막으로 후안 로페즈 선수의 각오를 들어보겠습니다.
Alright, any words of determination?
I really want to attend the round of 16 nomination, so be ready for the memes.
이제 16강 이제 그룹 노미네이션에서 좀 많은 드립들을 보여드릴 겁니다.
네, 알겠습니다. 그 드립 기대하고 있겠습니다. 축하드리겠습니다.
Right, once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
네, 이렇게 마지막 진출자 후안 로페즈 선수
Be
만나봤는데요.
ready
오늘 경기
for the memes. I just can't wait. This is probably going to be the greatest group nomination of all time.
I feel like our audience should have been warned about that before this broadcast as well. But also, whenever Special plays, he definitely dropped some spicy ones on us today, Artosis, including, I think the appropriate one is he definitely had us in the first half. They're losing 0-2 to Parting and then returning the favor, eliminating him from GSL in the final match.
Yeah, and he had that very close match against Alive. Let's not forget that was a pretty tight one.
True turning point.
Yeah, this was actually a very good group tonight.
And coming up, another good group, Dark versus Bomber and Ragnarok versus SOS.
That's a pretty crazy group, to be honest. Ragnarok's in good shape. SOS is always deadly. I have no idea what to expect from Bomber, though.
Well, I think Dark booster rockets out of this group for sure. This definitely looks kind of poised for him.
It would be shocking for the GSL champ in this type of form to not make
Yeah,
it.
and SOS can also be shocking because he was eliminated in the round of 32 last season, and that was equally as surprising.
He's always in this spot where he has to super deliver at the end of the year to go to BlizzCon.
Yeah.
Is he going to do it? Can he go to BlizzCon and ruin
He is the $100,000 man.
I know, right? So, I mean, that group is actually a very, very important one for him.
Yeah, just like it was important for Rogue today to advance because he also has kind of waited until the last second, procrastinated his WCS points to get himself there. So, yeah, it's going to be a really exciting season. I think we started it out in a pretty epic way. Excited for more games to come.
Indeed. We're going to be just blasting through the round of 32. We have it today, tomorrow, Saturday, and then the same schedule next week, and then Wednesday, Saturday, the week after that, and done.
Yeah.
So
basically a 2 or 3 week basically round of 32. I remember back when we used to do like Code A and rounds of 48 and all that crazy stuff. It would just literally take a month only for like half the players that we wouldn't see ever again.
Yeah, it was a little bit weird, but that was nice too.
That's right. And now we get to kind of speed run that. So that's going to do it for our broadcast today. Thank you all so much for joining us. We'll see you again back here tomorrow for more GSL.
Let's make it count.
I must practice tolerance. Next, GSL Season 3. Reversal.